have crossed the border.
Indeed, Mbali, while more than 8,000 Malawian nationals have been queuing at Home Affairs since late last night, only a fraction of them have managed to leave the country. So far, 2,322 Malawians have crossed the border, along with 497 Zimbabweans, while another 280 people have been deported from the Lindela Repatriation Center. Bali, that brings the total number of undocumented foreign nationals who've left South Africa to 3,099, despite thousands more across the country still waiting to be assisted. Bali, I can tell you that Police Deputy Minister Poli Bushielo says government is working around the clock to ensure that all undocumented foreign nationals are able to cross the border.
That's why we have taken some of the officials to go there directly to be able to process them, as I said, so that when the bus come here, it just passes. So we've got a means of what? So it's just because of that. But in this morning, from this morning, it's 3,099. We're talking about morning. We still were going to work until 9. So
Bali, 3,099 might sound like a small number, but Bushielo says government is satisfied with these figures and expects even more to pass through the border throughout the week. Alpha from Shwana, Eyewitness News, reporting live from the Bait Bridge border post in Musina.
Let's move to Johannesburg now, where some anti-illegal migration demonstrators in Soweto have called for a complete reset in the issuing of documents to migrants. This is one of the demands shared by the protesters today. The marchers handed over a memorandum of demands to police at a local civic centre, demanding a response in 7 days. We take you live now to our reporter, Khomotso Modise, who is in Soweto this afternoon. Khomotso, what is the latest?
Well, Mbali, among the demands made by the group here is constitutional reforms for citizenship to be protected in law and policy. They also want South Africa to review its position on refugees and for a commission of inquiry into the selling of identity documents. Here's Musa Hlongwa from United South Africa.
We demand investigation to informal businesses operating outside the law. Government should support South African entrepreneurs. Abantu bethu abasebenzayo fanele banikezwe amalungelo, banikezwe nalamathenda. Partnership with major wholesalers.
Bali, after a 3-kilometer walk from Thokoza Park, the group of hundreds has handed over the memorandum to police and officials at the Soweto Civic Centre. The crowd has now peacefully dispersed with no incidents of violence or looting reported. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News, reporting live from Soweto.
Staying in Johannesburg, but moving to the CBD now, demonstrators who moved through parts of the inner city have now largely dispersed. The main procession has now concluded at the Kwamaimai market, where organizers have declared the march a success. While the situation has calmed significantly, police continue to keep a close eye on splinter groups that have formed across parts of the inner city. Mongezi Gogo reports.
After a day of tight security, large crowds and tense moments, the main body of protesters has now dispersed following the conclusion of the march at Kwamaimai. The protest, which was staged around the informal 30 June deadline, drew an estimated 10,000 people, according to organizers. While there were isolated confrontations, including rock throwing in Hillbrow, there have been no reports of widespread looting or major damage. Law enforcement remains deployed across Johannesburg's inner city, where smaller groups of protesters continue to move through different areas under close police monitoring. March leader Ngizwe Mchunu says the demonstration achieved its objective.
It was more than just a success, but it has been very historic.
Meanwhile, authorities say they will maintain a high police presence into the evening to ensure the remaining gatherings disperse peacefully and to prevent any further public disorder. Mongezi Gogo, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
We shift our focus now to news making other headlines this afternoon. MK Party MP Vusi Shongwe has accused EFF leader Julius Malema of shielding Major General Feroz Khan from the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee. Shongwe dropped the bombshell during his testimony before the Madlanga Commission today. He also told the Commission that Khan and his close associates also offered him a 10 million rand bribe to stop asking questions about Khan during the parliamentary inquiry. Babalonde has more.
MK Party MP Vusi Shongwe is an alternate member of the Parliament Ad Hoc Committee, but he appeared as a witness before the Madlanga Commission today. His evidence centered around crime intelligence boss Feroz Khan, who he says was protected by certain MPs to not appear before the inquiry.
If you can add MKP numbers with DA and ANC, we would outnumber other parties and get General Khan in that seat. The only thing is that on that day, Honorable Malema was the most vocal in not getting General Khan to come there.
Shongwe says Khan also offered him cash during a meeting in what he calls a plot to control and stop him from probing allegations against Khan.
This is a plot to get me to take cash or get myself implicated in whatever they want to implicate me, or find a way to control me so that I can keep quiet.
Khan was meant to return to the commission tomorrow, but this has been delayed following his shooting incident at the weekend, which left him hospitalized. Babalo Ndenza, Eyewitness News.
Well, gold is trading at $4,015.26 an ounce. The rand is at 16.40 to the dollar, 21.67 to the pound, 18.69 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $72.53 a barrel.
Well, at the stage in Centurion, there's an accident seen on the N14 northbound. This is before Jean Avenue, causing some delays. While in the Joburg CBD, several routes, including Rahima Musa, Risik, as well as Lillian Goy Street, remain closed off to traffic. This is due to a march taking place in the area. And in Honeydew, there's also protests on Beyers Nodia between Peter Road and the Honeydew police station.
In your sport, Nasser Masraoui's defensive masterclass sees Morocco into the last 16 of the FIFA World Cup. The Proteas women eyeing improvement ahead of their T20 World Cup semi-final. And Aarto called up to the Springboks Nations Championship squad.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 19 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, only 3,099 undocumented foreign nationals left South Africa through the Beitbridge border post in Musina by midday today.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
On Sunday, 26 July, 7:02 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD.
7:02
Walk the Talk. Abize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
A very good afternoon to you. It's 10 minutes past 3 on Tuesday, the 30th of June. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Welcome to the show. It's been a difficult, tense and complicated day in our country, and it's not over yet. We'll keep you updated on the marches taking place around the country. Mongezi Koko is in the Joburg CBD. Tabiso Goba is in downtown Durban. And Ntokozo Kumalo is watching things in Tshwane. We've got reporters in the Eastern and Western Cape. And we'll also clock in with Alpha Ramoshwana. You heard him a moment ago. He's in Musina talking to people who are leaving South Africa via our northern border. In other stories, fuel prices come down substantially tomorrow. Petrol by around 2 Rand a litre, diesel by 3 Rand 60, that's the wholesale price, and paraffin by 5 Rand 23. That's good news for the poorest of our countrymen and women. Will this start making a meaningful difference to the cost of living, or do we need much, much more of the same? For a while at least. More on that at 10 to 5 with Stanlib economist Kevin Lings. Tomorrow also sees the introduction of the Aarto system, which could see all of us, or many of us at least, losing points and possibly the worst of us losing our licenses for repeated traffic offences. Organisations like Outa say the system isn't actually ready for use, but we'll hear from the Road Traffic Infringement Agency after 4 o'clock. Are they ready to go? We'll find out. And it's been a very interesting day at the Madlanga Commission.
Yusuf then ended the call and continued speaking to me, remaining close to me. He said, "Stop this. You are our brother and we can really take care of you. There is a security tender at Checkers worth 2.2 million every month, and we can give it to you. I replied that I do not operate in that manner. He insisted that he could arrange 10 bar in cash for me, and I said it was fine, that we can talk up on Friday.
So that's MK Party Member of Parliament Thulani Shongwe. His evidence very much focuses on Major General Feroz Khan. He's been on the stand, and Karen Morn from News 24 has been watching and listening closely. She's with us after 5 with her take on what the commissioners have heard today. On the markets, the JSE is flat today. The All Share up by 90 points, which is really neither here nor there in terms of any sort of trend. What is significant, though, is a big jump in the oil price. I'll talk about that in a moment. And a big jump as well in the resources index, which has been doing really poorly of late. That index is up by 1.87%. Reflected in some gold shares, Harmony has gained 3.1%. Goldfields is up by 2.7%. Anglo has gained 2.6%. On the downside, ABSA has had a steep fall. Markets didn't particularly like some information that came out today. ABSA down by 8.4%. Thungela has lost 7.2%, which is surprising given the oil price spike. But there you go. The rand is trading at 16 rand 39 against the dollar. That's a 3-cent gain against the greenback. A euro will cost you 18 rand 67. That's a 6-cent gain for the rand. And 21 rand 66 will get you a pound. Our currency 6 cents better against sterling. The oil price has had a sharp spike today, up by $14.32. 14, not 40. But still much, much more than we would like to see. With Brent crude now trading at $74.43 a barrel. Stephen Curtis is with us with all the market news at 4:25. We'll get sport with Tolakele Mganga. Dramatic day, or dramatic evening last night. Germany knocked out of the World Cup. Who'd have thought? Karabo Charlie has the latest traffic news. Much of Gauteng affected, and significantly so in some places by the marches going on. And Mbali Dlamini back at 3:30 with the very latest news headlines. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live. If it's happening in 702 land, we'll do our best to bring it to you first. I always say, though, if you are seeing something that we don't know about, please get in touch on 072 702 1702 or give us a call on 011 883 0702. This is particularly important, I think, on a day like today where we simply cannot be everywhere. And as you heard in that news bulletin, there are, and indeed from Karabo, there are marches all over the place, and a growing number, some are saying, certainly in Gauteng. So if you've got some things you've seen, some things you know about, please, today more than any other, do give us a call. 011 883 0702. It's 3:15.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
So people are marching today. That, of course, is a democratic right for South Africans. And many have taken advantage of, I think, what we still can regard as a very free and open atmosphere in which we can say our say and register our disgruntlement around things. So the question I want to ask you is this. Have you marched or been involved in any other kind of community and collective action to try and get something changed or something stopped or something brought in? And how did it go? If you look back on it, and you can go back as far as you like, in your life, a march that you might have been involved in, a protest that you could have been instrumental in either organizing or just simply taking part and joining the ranks of other people. What was the outcome? If you have a story to tell, I am very keen to hear it. Call us, please. 072 702 1702. Rifui Litsua, a different generation to mine, obviously, but have you marched? Have you protested? Have you been on committees and been an activist of some kind?
Good afternoon, John, and to the rest of the 702 family. So, in my lifetime, I've been in 3 marches.
Okay.
The first march was accidental. I was new in the area, and there was just a bit of commotion. So I asked, "What's happening?" We're marching, so I just marched with them because I think I was just, I don't want to say naive, but I just went with the
Curious.
flow. Curious. I was curious,
Yeah.
went with the flow, and I thought it was a good cause because it was against it's like high rates and taxes. So they were like, no, we need to get, proper things happening in this community.
Mm-hmm.
And this was back in Velkom in Tabong. So it was like, oh, okay, I know that a lot of the times in the township, people don't really march. I haven't seen that. Was my first time. And then when I was a student, there was one against, there were a couple of incidences on campus where people were getting robbed and raped and all of that stuff. And I just thought we'd had enough. I mean, you want to come from the library and be safe, but getting home, but you get robbed. So I did that. And then one, I remember with my church, it was against human trafficking.
Okay.
Yes, which I still do from time to time. And we raise funds for the victims of human trafficking. So I think,
So
I've done three.
Three different issues, three different times in your life, to some
Correct.
extent at least. I mean, in general, would you say, I'm glad I did it, and we didn't achieve everything, but we achieved something? How do you review it?
I definitely say I'm glad I did it, John. It also just raised an awareness within myself that, if we want to bring change, as small as it is, I can't be sitting at home on my phone and complaining. I need to at least show up and see what else can I do. I know it can be a little frustrating because I think sometimes we want the result now, today.
Yes.
But I think for me it was worth it, and I'm definitely an activist at heart, John.
Yeah, interesting.
Definitely, yeah.
I think it's in America that they chant, "What do we want?" And then they say what they want. And they say, "When do we want it?" Now.
We definitely need to work on the songs.
I think it's a UK thing. The Americans prefer to rhyme things like 2, 4, 6, 8. We ain't gonna stand and wait.
Yes.
Karabo, have you taken to the streets?
Okay, definitely not take to the streets. But in grade, I think it was grade 9, I went to a school where sports was compulsory. Like you had to pick something, either hockey or rugby. And then there was a group of us who wanted to play soccer. Mm-hmm. And knowing very well it's a rugby hockey school, we just insisted that they should accommodate us because the facilities were big enough to have a soccer team.
Correct.
And the headmaster was having none of it. We did a petition. We tried to boycott some sports not participating, but all we got was detention slips.
Sure.
And I guess it never came to fruition, but we tried. And I felt proud of taking a stance.
Yeah, but that's great at a young age. Very good. Okay, so Sandra says, the only march I did was against rhino poaching. Let me just get this back on screen. In 2012, around that time, and Kevin Richardson, the lion whisperer, was there. It was all done safely in the Joburg Zoo where Pila was kept. Pila was a rhino, she clarifies, that survived being killed by poachers. Listen, no issue too small, no action too meaningless. So I believe that absolutely, even if it just focuses you in your determination to see something get done. So have you taken to the streets, protested in other way, engaged in any kind of activism, and how do you look back on it? Did it succeed, even if in a small way? Your story, please. 072 702 1702. Coming up shortly, we're going to be going out to the Joburg CBD, Joburg Hillbrow. That's where Mongezi Koko has been following things, and then down to the Durban CBD. Very much expected by many people, I think, to be the largest march. But in Corner, Malinga Mnisi will clarify for us exactly what's going on there. Let's find out about the traffic. A complicated day on the roads in some places, but don't worry about it. Here's Karabo.
Well, let me start in Centurion, John, where there's an accident seen on the N14 northbound before Jean Avenue, causing some delays. This is off the N1 Brakfontein interchange. Looking at the marches taking place across Joburg at this stage in the CBD, several roads, including Rahima Musa, Rasik, as well as Lillian Goy Street, remain closed off to traffic due to that ongoing march in the area. While in Hillbrow, John, I'm seeing footages and videos emerging on X of a vehicle being set on fire. That's in Hillbrow. It looks like things are getting a bit volatile. If you're in and around the area, please let us know what's the situation. You can WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic. In Honeydew, also protests, but this looks peaceful. There's a march on Bayers No Deer. This is between Peter Road and Honeydew Police Station. Again, if you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Catch the Springboks live at Ellis Park Stadium this year. Lions fans, get ready. Secure your all-inclusive Lions membership package to watch the Springboks versus England and the All Blacks. Or from just 950 Rand, get your Lions-only package and unlock access to every Lions match at Ellis Park. All packages include the massive clash between the Lions and the All Blacks this August. Memberships are available now at Ticket Pro or through our stadium ticket office. Visit lionsrugby.co.za for package options. Own the season and get behind your team.
Experience pure country allure as a VIP at this year's Hollywood Bets Durban July with Spina Zonke. Stand a chance to win VIP experiences or a share of 1.2 million Rand in cash. Bet 2 Rand or more on selected slots to enter. This is your moment. Release your spirit. Release your victory. Release your glamour with Spina Zonke. Bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy, a pulse, and a feeling connecting everybody. The heart of Mzansi.
It's Joburg.
In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi, and we're calling on you to walk through the city center with us.
Walk the talk.
In the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going to the iconic Joburg CBD, the home of dream creators and operators, where we dominate and history make. So join us and be a part of something special.
I'm ready to rock this book.
Because when Joburg walks together, extraordinary things happen. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk this July, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for the people, for our Jozi. Babize bonke. Enter Walk the Talk now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
24 minutes past 3 to the Joburg CBD in a moment, but this from Donovan, who says some reports of protesters going house to house in Germiston. I did see footage that suggested something like that. I wasn't always keeping the sound on, but ENCA seemed to be on that story. But if you're in the Germiston area and you've got more info than I have, and Donovan's update rings a bell for you, please do give us a call on that. 011 883 0702. Mongezi, a very good afternoon to you. Mongezi Koko has been with marchers in Hillbrow and then moving south through the city towards the Mai market. Mongezi, what have you seen today? Are things still relatively calm? I know there were some issues with stone and bottle throwing earlier, but how are things at the moment? Good afternoon.
A very good afternoon to you, Ndatijan. Things are relatively calm at this current juncture. We are still seeing a heavy police contingent. This is, of course, across the Johannesburg CBD. This includes areas like Berea. It includes areas like Hillbrow, Yeoville, and deeper within city suburbia in KwaMai. This is where the majority of the marches then dispersed just a few moments ago. We understand through the organizers that at least 10,000 people participated in this main march here in the Johannesburg CBD. But then as the day progressed, we saw splinter groups come about, and these splinter groups are still moving about, but all really coming together at KwaMai. We did see an incident where the people who were protesting were actually attacked by some people in the local flats in Hillbrow, where the people within the homes in the flats threw rocks and something towards the car. It wasn't really identified, towards the cars and towards the protesters. This resulted in the protesters retaliatory attacks by the protesters, who then hurled rocks right back at the people in the properties. As they moved along, Dijon, it's important to note that wherever they saw some buildings with windows, there was a lot of damage inflicted. I think we'll get a broader understanding of this from the JMPD as the day progresses, but a lot of damage was seen within the inner city, particularly in Yeoville and Hillbrow. We also did see an incident where someone in a flat here in Berea then started opening fire at the protesters. This then resulted in a huge standoff with rocks then hurled back at that shooter, who then went into the flat. And of course, as he entered the flat, police then descended on the scene. They've now officially cordoned off this particular scene and are conducting investigations. We are seeing EMS here. Not too sure if there were any injuries, but we do know that the shot that was fired did not result in anyone losing their lives and or any injuries. So the situation is relatively calm for now, but these sporadic and isolated incidents of violence are seemingly they're becoming more apparent now as the crowd loses its numbers.
Thanks so much, Mongezi Koko, with that update from inner city Joburg. He's been up to the northern and eastern reaches of the inner city in Yeoville, in Hillbrow, and then the marches moving south through the city and going to the Kwamai market. If you've seen anything or you've got something to add, please do give us a call on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702, 28 minutes past 3.
What I love about this year's 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is that it's taking people back into the Joburg CBD, and for people to be able to see the work that Josie My Josie has been doing, how they've been fixing up the city. I'm so excited for people to see that. You should take part in this year's Walk the Talk, because if you haven't been into the Joburg CBD in a long time because you're worried about safety, about crime, it's an incredible opportunity for you to go and see what's been happening in the Joburg CBD, what Josie My Josie has been doing, what the residents of Joburg have been doing. This year, I'm going to take part in the Walk the Talk because I can't wait to see the reaction of people when they go back to the Joburg CBD and to just feel that energy and feel the pulse of the city, and for people to return and for the city to be rejuvenated and for people to want to get involved in being part of that. To enter the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, go to primemediaplus.com. I'll see you on the streets.
When you're walking the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk on Sunday, 26 July, keep your eyes open because Mazda is bringing wonder to the 8-kilometer route. There'll be 5 Mazda Wonder experiences, including a piano performance, a world of color, a bubble field, a Japanese garden, and the Mazda Wonder Hub. Visit one of the 5, then capture and share your wonder moment on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. Tag and follow at Mazda SA using hashtag Mazda SA, and you could win your share of 50,000 Rand. Mazda, where wonder awaits. T's and C's apply.
At the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, snap and share all 5 Mazda Wonder experiences using hashtag Mazda SA to stand a chance to win a share of 50,000 Rand.
Sure, they aced it. The Championships Wimbledon experience with the Mzansi Advantage is back at Amex Tennistown Monte Casino between 11 and 12 July 2026. Enjoy VIP hospitality, the ultimate big screen experience, a kids fun zone, and so much more. Buy your tickets now on Howler and get 50% off on limited tickets when you use your Amex card. Tennis is better with Amex. American Express Cards is operated under license in South Africa by Nedbank, a licensed financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Do you dream of inspiring young minds as a qualified teacher? Whether you're just starting your journey, looking to advance your career, or are already a teacher wanting to upgrade your qualifications, SANS can help. As a registered private higher education institution, SANS offers accredited, affordable distance teaching qualifications with full support every step of the way. Visit sans.co.za today and take your first step towards becoming a teacher.
29 minutes to 4 now on 702 Drive. Let's get the very latest eyewitness news on a very busy day indeed. Here, once again, is Mbali Dlamini. Good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. March and March leader Jacinta Ngobese Zuma has described anti-illegal migration protests held today as a turning point and a moment which will go down in the books of history. Ngobese Zuma addressed a crowd gathered outside the Point police station in Durban today, where their march concluded. The march formed part of demonstrations across the country calling for tighter immigration controls. Ngobese Zuma welcomed what she describes as an impressive turnout, praising the unity and discipline shown by all demonstrators. But she has once again questioned government's response to repeated calls for decisive action against illegal migration.
Never again shall we allow anyone to come into our country and reduce young girls into prostitutes. This is not xenophobia, and it is not ethnic mobilization. It is a fight for social well-being of South Africa in particular and Africa in general.
Meanwhile, thousands of demonstrators marched in Tembisa, led by Zulu Amabutho and the Indunas, in a protest targeting illegal migration. The protesters handed over a memorandum of demands to police, calling for local shops to be owned and operated by South Africans. Dimakato Leshoro is there.
A heavy contingent of Ekurhuleni Metro Police is escorting and monitoring the march. The demonstration has remained peaceful so far, with marchers singing songs as onlookers line the streets. Traffic has been brought to a standstill along the area known as Straight Line in Tembisa. They are led by their Induna Baba Maduna.
No, thina into sifuna nje behambile nje kube nophona nje.
Sifuna bagcine bavala amashop ungaphinde bavule. Till forever ungena abantu South Africa kule mashop lo ownable.
Loud bangs which sounded like gunshots were heard during the march. The source could not be immediately verified. Police have remained in control of the situation as the demonstration ended at the Squincha hostel. Dimakato Leshoro, Eyewitness News, Tembisa, Straight Line.
And some good news now. Motorists are set to experience some much-needed relief at the pumps this week as the price of fuel drops. The new prices are effective from midnight. The South African Petroleum Retailers Association's Vishal Premlal has welcomed the latest adjustments.
Any fuel price relief is welcome right now. From the 1st of July 2026, petrol is coming down by around 2 Rand a litre, diesel by more than 3 Rand a litre. And eliminating paraffin is also seeing a significant decrease, which is important for many households that still rely on it.
And in Italy, 4 people have been arrested for allegedly carrying out an October bomb attack targeting a prominent journalist. It's understood the journalist had been threatened by the mafia and had lived under police protection for several years. 3 of the suspects have been placed in pre-trial detention and the 4th is under house arrest. AFP is reporting that the probe into the blast involved close examinations of video surveillance systems, phone records, as well as scientific analysis of the explosive device. It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 19 and 22 degrees.
Centurion accident seen on the N14 northbound before Jean Avenue causing heavy delays, while in the Joburg CBD several roads remain restricted to traffic. This include Rahima Musa, Twist Street, as well as Lillian Goy, due to the march taking place this afternoon. I see there in Hillbrow, we've received footage and videos on X where a vehicle has been set on fire. Honeydew also protests. This is on Bayers Nodia, between Peter Road and Honeydew Police Station, but we understand that protest has so far been peaceful.
The top story in EWN. March and March leader Jacinta Ngobese Zuma has described anti-illegal migration protests held today as a turning point and a moment which will go down in the books of history.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Lots of press briefings about the fact that there is intelligence to deal with any criminality and all of the things that are anticipated. I'm not hearing the conversation about what happens on the 1st. It's almost as if everything is about the 30th of June and nothing but the 30th of June. But man, there's the 1st, then the 2nd. If indeed there is some nefarious activities planned, then they've got you. Because all of your resources have been focused on this one day about the 30th of June, the 30th of June.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
When Joburg comes together for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk on Sunday, 26 July, FNB will be walking with you because FNB believes that help starts on the ground with people coming together for good. So join FNB on this walk through the iconic Joburg CBD. Witness a city on the move. Experience the collective action helping to shape a cleaner, safer Joburg and rediscover the revitalized energy that makes the city unique. Enter now at primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk in proud partnership with FNB.
Breaking news. Motorists are bracing themselves for even more fuel price hikes in June.
Or prepare differently. BYD hybrid vehicles use up to 70% less fuel than normal cars. And BYD fully electric vehicles, no fuel at all. Test drive the brand new BYD Aarto 2 DMI plug-in hybrid this June and kiss rising fuel prices goodbye forever. Visit byd.coza or your nearest dealership. BYD, build your dreams.
The pain of losing a loved one is never easy. It will leave you feeling overwhelmed. At Clientele, we understand that burying loved ones with dignity truly matters. Our funeral plans pay out cash within just 24 hours, and you receive 200 Rand airtime when you claim to make those important calls. Plus, we cover up to 13 people on one plan. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi John, Lucretia here. I haven't travelled much today, but what I have noticed when I did go down the road for one or two things, there's nobody begging by the street lights or anything. So that was quite an interesting observation.
Good afternoon, Dr. John and fellow listeners. You know, it's very sad to have to hear people trying to discount the marches that happened today as if they achieved nothing. But then this is only the first phase, you know, and to have foreigners throwing stones at the marchers at Hillbrow, that is going to spark a fire that no military or SAPS that is going to be able to contain. And also Ramaphosa and all the relevant ministers, Home Affairs, Labor, Trade Industry and the justice system, as long as they don't come out and have a detailed plan and make commitments to give progress report on monthly basis, this thing that the John is going to turn very ugly. Mense eles hatful. People are just sick and tired of what is happening in this country. People being unemployed, but every time foreigners are the ones who are playing the victim, and everybody must feel sorry for that. We cannot continue having this.
Hey John and the team. With regard to having participated in a march, when we had some of the first xenophobic unrest and attacks in the country, the Johannesburg-based Bloemfontein Celtic branch organized an anti-xenophobic march in Bloemfontein. I can't remember the year. And we actually drove down to Bloemfontein to go and meet the other branches and march to show our stand against the violence that took place. I think it was a good cause to put your name behind, and I think it's something that should be continued to be supported. Obviously, it's not to say if people are in the country illegally or in any country for that matter. I don't think any country supports and accepts that, but we need to be mindful that there are people that are here, legally. But yeah, thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks, and enjoying all your reactions. Please do keep those coming on 011 883 0702. I'm not sure where, in the first voice note, though, this perception that everybody is discounting on the radio the success of the march. I haven't heard any of our reporters suggesting anything like that at all. Maybe it's coming from somewhere else. 19 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
Sure. Tolakele, some surprises last night, eh?
Absolutely, John. In a night of shocks at the FIFA World Cup, saw the Netherlands and Germany suffer defeat in the round of 32, while Brazil's bid for a sixth World Cup title remains on track. Die Mannschaft and the Dutch exited after penalty shootout defeats to Paraguay and Morocco, respectively. Nosem Mazraoui put in a defensive masterclass as the Atlas Lions marched into the last 16.
It's a big accomplishment for the team, the fighting spirit we show up until the last moment of the game. The guys who came in, Shamsuddin Talbi, who gave like an amazing ball. I think we played a great game against this team, because otherwise you cannot beat them, because they are way too good to have an off day and still beat the Netherlands. Yeah, all the respect for them as well.
The Proteas women are switching their attention to Thursday's T20 World Cup semi-final clash against England at Lord's. Marazan Cup admits that the team have yet to play their best cricket as they target a third consecutive World Cup final appearance.
Actually feel like we've probably performed at 60%, to be completely honest. But that excites me. That tells me, and I know this team, that big players like Bolfi hasn't hit the straps yet. So we have a lot of players that are due, and that for me is exciting, because the best is yet to come. We're not close to playing our best cricket, and hopefully we've been saving it for that semi-final.
Loose forward Aarto has been called up to the Springbok squad for the Nations Championship as additional forward cover. Lowe played the last of his 13 test matches against Wales in November 2024 and spent most of last season on the sidelines, having suffered a serious knee injury. He'll make a welcome return to the squad as they begin their inaugural campaign against England at Ellis Park on Saturday. And ahead of it, Rassie Erasmus has discussed the double world champions' rivalry with the European team.
When I was playing, we were going for 17 matches in a row on the Nick Mallet. I'll never forget, England took it away from us there. It's just a great rivalry, always against us. I played in the game in the World Cup where Yanni de Beer dropped 5 drop goals, and we went through to the next stage, and they didn't. They've done some things where they took some glory away from us, just the way they play the games. And then obviously we had some World Cup finals against them and some pretty important games. Some were one-pointers.
And France skipper Antoine Dupont will not play in any of the upcoming Nations Championship matches because of a calf injury. Dupont was already unavailable for the opening game against New Zealand on the 4th of July. And the scrum half will now also miss the clashes against Australia on the 11th and Japan a week later. He's replaced in the squad by his Toulouse teammate Paul Grau. Tolagile Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Problems out in Centurion again, actually. I mean, we had that yesterday. Karabo Charlie has all the details.
Yeah, heading towards the Joburg CBD, we have that accident scene in the Centurion area on the N14 northbound before Jean Avenue, causing heavy delays. As you've heard earlier from Mongezi, our reporter who's in the Joburg CBD Hillbrow area, some protesters or marches taking place. Those members of the march have dispersed, and now things have been things are calm at this stage. However, we've received reports in the Hillbrow area where there's a bit of some violence. A vehicle was set alight and burnt, and also stones being thrown at certain buildings. So if you are in and around the Hillbrow area, please update us. Let us know what's the situation. You can WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic. In Honeydew, protests still continue on Bayers Nodia. This is between Pretoria Road and the Honeydew police station, but that situation is calm at this stage. If you come across any other traffic issues, you can also X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, getting lots of feedback from people just telling us about what they've seen in the course of the day's marches and the day's protest activity. Please do keep those coming on 072 702 1702. If you do, by the way, tell us about an incident of any kind, please can you just give us some idea of where it is? I realize that if there's a safety issue, you may not want to mention a particular building or a particular street, but at least give us some perspective as to which part of Gauteng, which part of Joburg that particular issue actually happened. So this one, thank you for the additional details. No name given to this, but says, I'm a South African and the windows in our building were smashed by the protesters. One of our neighbors was beaten, and the sad part is that young children are in these homes. We saw him just get beaten without them asking anything. And this is something that happened in Berea, somewhere close to Joe Slovo Drive, in the Berea part of Hillbrow. Tola Kelly, we were asking the question a little bit earlier. Obviously, a lot of tension around the marches today, but taking part in protest action, be they marches or other kinds of demonstrations, very much part of our South African culture, and indeed something I think we can be quite proud of, that we have a very healthy kind of democracy that allows these things to take place. I've just been asking people if they've been on marches or protested in any way, and looking back on it, did you feel something was achieved? I mean, anything from your interesting life?
I've never been part of a march or a protest, but I was kind of that high school group, I think Karabo will also remember, where is it SASCO? Every few weeks they were protesting for teachers to have better salaries, which impacted how often we were able to go to school. I think now that I'm older, I understand why they're necessary and how sometimes sitting in boardrooms and trying to play nice about it, it gets to a point where you're like, actually, this is not working. We need to show everybody who's impacted in the society at large that this is not just about the individuals. It also has a knock-on effect for everybody else. It is very scary when you are in it, but I think once you sit down and you listen to why people are doing it, it's easier to understand their point of view and also to some level be willing to join the protest action so that they know that they're not doing this alone.
Yeah, I mean, my life of being on and in marches, for example, has always been a bit blurred because for many, many years now I've been a journalist. So sometimes I've been participating, but also kind of, with my reporter's hat on. But one march I actually took part in pretty much as a citizen was after F.W. de Klerk became president of the country in the very late 80s. I think it was in 1989, just prior to releasing Nelson Mandela and others unbanning the ANC and so on. They had what were called marches for peace, or peace marches in all the major cities. And the one in Joburg actually went round where the protesters are now. It was a huge march. And there was something, slightly nervy and edgy about all those tall buildings. And you're thinking, what could come out of one of the... But nothing ever happened. And it was really fabulous. So I have to say that was a particular memory. But your stories, please. Marches you have marched on. Demonstrations you have demonstrated in. And what did they produce? It's 11 minutes to 4. Time for us to take one of your calls.
702.
Call John
on 011
883
0702.
Sibongile is on the line from Soweto. Hi, Sibongile.
Hi, Dr. John. I'm very much concerned about when people started to criticize in terms of achievement. To me, there was an achievement of making sure that this day the action happened. With regards to the results, this is a starting point. This is what happened in 1976. Our parents were shocked to see us doing what we were doing, but we said we are going forward. So this is the starting point whereby people must start looking at what is actually happening in South Africa. What can you and me and everybody do to make sure that there's order in South Africa? Because this is not the first protest. Dudula came, people showed the dissatisfaction, nothing happened. So this is the movement which says then the more is coming. It cannot be done by Jacinta, it cannot be done by anybody, but the conscientization of actually saying to all of us, let's do something to make a paradigm shift to the government of today, to say we are tired, we are seeing things, not only saying that we are tired of seeing the people from outside, but we are tired about so many things because the bottle is filling up, and it's filling up with things which are frustrating the people. Thank you.
Sibongile calling from Soweto on 011 883 0702. It's 9 minutes to 4.
John is on X
at John Perlman.
Well, we focused so far on 702 Drive very much on what's happening in terms of the protests, but some of the consequences of other actions taken in other parts of the country in particular, I think it's fair to say, down in Durban to date, has led to quite a large number of people heading out of South Africa and back to either Malawi or Zimbabwe. For that reason, Alpha Ramoshwana is up in Musina. That's where the Beitbridge border post is, our northern border with Zimbabwe. Alpha, very good afternoon to you. What have you seen today that we really do need to know about? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. Well, South Africa hasn't seen a lot of foreign nationals, specifically the undocumented ones or the ones who are being repatriated, leaving in their large numbers today. I mean, we started our morning at the Beitbridge border very early today in Tata John, and there was almost no movement of the people who we were expecting to cross the border. And we had wondered why exactly this is the case. We had been expecting long convoys and buses just transporting people into Zimbabwe and other parts of Africa. And then we learned that there were about 8,000 Malawian nationals who had been camping at the Home Affairs offices or outside the Home Affairs offices here in Musina. And those people have been queuing there for Home Affairs to assist them with the required papers for them to leave South Africa through the port of entry here in Beitbridge. And so they've been camping there since yesterday at about 7 p.m. Only a small portion of them have been assisted so far. We did get an update in Tata John from the Interministerial Committee on Migration, this time represented by the Deputy Police Minister, Poli Bushielo, and she says that today, up until midday, only 3,099 people, foreign nationals, undocumented foreign nationals, left the country. The majority of those are Malawian people, about 2,300 of them. 497 Zimbabweans left by midday, and 280 people fleeing their were also deported by midday. So it's a relatively small number compared to what we had been expecting, Dr. John, but they do say that throughout the week they do expect to see more and more people leaving South Africa through the border.
So, Alpha, I mean, the people who are waiting at Home Affairs, what exactly are they waiting for? Is it a particular document, and is their wait complicated by the fact that the papers they currently have are not in order?
Well, yes, it's.
Okay, we're just losing our connection with Alpha Ramoshwana then. We'll do a catch-up with him a little bit later in the show. Let's focus our attention now on Pretoria. Annalita Vandese, our EWN reporter, has been in the capital city and following a march that started at Church Square and then went across to Sunnyside. I understand the marchers are now back in Church Square. Annalita, good afternoon to you. A summary of what's happened today and what you've seen. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. So the gathering began in the city centre, as you mentioned, with over 100 protesters converging to the Sunnyside police station. Organisers have been calling consistently for action against undocumented immigration and the repatriation of those found to be in the country illegally. The march coordinator, Usthembile Smelane, told supporters it was time for the residents to reclaim control of the city. What we've also seen, police maintaining a strong presence throughout the demonstration, forming a perimeter around the station, monitoring proceedings as protesters were delivering the memorandum. The police has accepted the memorandum, they've welcomed it, and they've promised to work hand in hand with immigration to try and meet and look into and meet these demands. So we are now officially concluded in Pretoria.
So everything is concluded in Pretoria. Do you get a sense that everyone is kind of dispersing and heading home? I know with some of the other marchers we spoke a little bit earlier, Annalita, to Mongezi Koko, who was saying there was a little bit of splintering in the Joburg march and a sense that some people may actually continue with a protest in a smaller group, but perhaps not as well regulated by the authorities. What's the position in Pretoria? All breaking up and dispersing, or might there be something carrying on for longer?
A bit of both, John. Most of the numbers have diversed and left, but there are still a number of people still here trying to make plans to continue the march. But we know that the official organization leaders have said that should people continue beyond 3 p.m., then it's just them as individuals, and it has nothing necessarily to do with the organization. So there are groups of people still around, still planning, hopes to head over to Marabastad to continue the march. But police are still on standby, so I think they're just on standby watching to see what the next move will be.
Thanks very much, Annalita Fandese, just covering protests in the city of Pretoria. Please do call in if there's anything you want to share, a view on what's been happening, not just today, but in the build-up to today, maybe a view on what might happen next, or anything you've seen that you think we need to know about. Please call us 072 702 1702 for WhatsApps, 011 883 0702 if you'd like to give us a call. This is 702 Drive.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Minister Mameluko Kubai. We're an anxious nation today, are we not?
I guess South Africans have the right to expect to be protected, and we can assure them that the state will definitely ensure that their lives and their livelihoods are protected.
The President has said there's no national shutdown, but already we are seeing many businesses have taken extra precautions, some opting not to open. Certainly, police visibility is welcome, but many using even private security to safeguard their businesses.
We work together with private sector in terms of business against crime. We as the state have said that it's a normal day. The President has announced.
What happens next, Minister?
We'll continue to have things under control. We have an obligation as the state to protect South Africans.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
All the movers, the shakers, the hustlers, and the champions of Joburg aren't just characters in the story. They are the story. And on Sunday, 26 July, you, ABSA, and thousands of others are coming together to celebrate the remarkable people and places that move Joburg forward. It is the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Am I going to see you there? I certainly hope so. Because progress, doesn't happen from the sidelines. It's a kind of a step-by-step, story-by-story thing that we do, and we do it best together. ABSA supports the people of Joburg by enabling their stories. That's why ABSA has partnered with Mazda to change someone's story by giving you a chance to drive away in a brand new Mazda 2 on the day. So, to enter, download, register, and transact on the ABSA banking app between 26 June and 20 July, and then join the rest of Joburg at 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk in proud partnership with ABSA. ABSA is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Competition terms and conditions apply.
Is there a word for the feeling of a road disappearing over the horizon? Beyonding? What about the feeling you get when you see sunlight flickering through rows of trees? Sun fizzing. Anyway, some things don't like to be explained. They just ask to be felt. Like the feeling of a drive built around you. Technology that's human first makes you one with your car in a way that you can't explain. You can only feel. And there's a word for that. Mazda. Wonder awaits. At the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, snap and share all 5 Mazda Wonder experiences using hashtag MazdaSA to stand a chance to win a share of 50,000 Rand.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
702 Drive. Some people have been saying, well, what happens tomorrow in regard to the issues that are front and center and very much in sharp focus today? But what also does happen tomorrow, 2 things. The price of fuel is going down, petrol, diesel, and paraffin. Implications of that for your cost of living. I know one decrease doesn't immediately enhance a bank balance. But Kevin Lings, chief economist at Stanlib Asset Management, will give us some guidance on that. And the other thing happening tomorrow is the introduction of the Aarto system in regard to traffic infringements. Some groups like Outa are saying government isn't quite ready for that. Monde Mkalipi, a spokesperson for the Road Traffic Infringement Agency, comes on to engage with those concerns and tell you what we can expect. That's at 4:10. It's 4 o'clock now.
This is EWN.
Police now monitor breakaway demonstrations in parts of the country. An MK Party MP, Vusi Shongwe, claims he was offered cash by Khan. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Police in Gugompo in the Eastern Cape are monitoring a small group of protesters who broke away from an official march in the city's CBD. The main demonstration, which was largely peaceful today, ended a short while ago outside the local city hall. Ntutuzelo is following developments today, following those anti-illegal immigration marches taking place today. Ntutuzelo, take us through why this group chose to break away from the official march.
Well, Mbali, the group says the official march route from Southernwood to Oxford Street in the CBD was too short and failed to pass through some of the areas they believe are at the center of the city's migration concerns. And after the official march ended, the group moved to Quigney, which is less than 2 kilometers from the city center, where a number of businesses owned by foreign nationals are located. Earlier, one of the organizers of the official march, Azola Mkhano, called for closer cooperation between communities, the police and Home Affairs officials in dealing with undocumented migration.
Because there are accusations of police and Home Affairs that are being bribed, so we want to be part. Whenever they do a raid, they must be the community so that we can witness of what is happening.
Meanwhile, Eastern Cape Provincial Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Vuisile Ngata says police have arrested 143 undocumented foreign nationals across the province over the past 2 days. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News, Bukompo.
Only 3,099 undocumented foreign nationals left South Africa through the Beitbridge border in Musina by midday today. This has been revealed by Deputy Police Minister Poli Bushielo during a media briefing at the port of entry this afternoon. Thousands of migrants who are being deported and repatriated to their home countries remain stranded at Home Affairs offices in Musina. Most of them have spent the day queuing in order to obtain the required documents that allow them to cross the border. Alfara Mushwana is there.
While more than 8,000 Malawian nationals have been queuing at Home Affairs since last night, only a fraction of them have managed to leave the country. So far, 2,322 Malawians have crossed the border, along with 497 Zimbabweans, while another 280 people have been deported from the Lindela Repatriation Center. That brings the total number of undocumented foreign nationals who've left South Africa to 3,099, despite thousands more across the country still waiting to be assisted. Police Deputy Minister Poli Bushielo says government is working around the clock to ensure that all undocumented foreign nationals are able to cross the border.
That's why we have taken some of the officials to be able to process them. From this morning, it's 3,099.
She says government is satisfied with these numbers and expects even more to pass through the border throughout the week. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Beitbridge border in Limpopo.
While in the Western Cape, more than 1,000 migrants have been waiting for almost 2 days now to be repatriated to their home countries from the Home Affairs Repatriation Center in Epping. About 3,000 Zimbabwean nationals were relocated from the Zimbabwean consulate to Epping on Sunday evening after requesting to be repatriated in fear of today's demonstrations. A group of about 100 Malawians has since joined those who want to return home. Carlo Peterson is on the scene.
Women and children can be seen sleeping on the pavements outside the Department of Home Affairs offices here in Epping. Officials say about 1,200 Zimbabweans are now documented to return to their home country. Outside, hundreds more are still waiting to be processed. Zimbabwean Clever Master is one of them.
I'm just waiting here for, there's no transport. We're just crying for transport. If there's a help, we can help us with buses. We need more buses.
At least 3 buses have since transported some of the Zimbabweans here to the Beitbridge border, while 4 more buses have just arrived. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News at the Department of Home Affairs in Epping.
While we shift our focus to this now, MK Party MP Vusi Shongwe has accused EFF leader Julius Malema of shielding Major General Feroz Khan from the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee. Shongwe dropped the bombshell during his testimony before the Madlanga Commission today. He has also told the Commission that Khan and his close associates also offered him a 10 million rand bribe to stop asking questions about Khan during the parliamentary inquiry. Babalondenze has more.
MK Party MP Vusi Shongwe is an alternate member of the Parliament Ad Hoc Committee, but he appeared as a witness before the Madlanga Commission today. His evidence centered around crime intelligence boss Feroz Khan, who he says was protected by certain MPs to not appear before the inquiry.
If you can add MKP numbers with DA and ANC, we would outnumber other parties and get General Khan in that seat. The only thing is that on that day, Honorable Malema was the most vocal in not getting General Khan to come there.
Shongwe says Khan also offered him cash during a meeting in what he calls a plot to control and stop him from probing allegations against Khan.
This is a plot to get me to take cash or get myself implicated in whatever they want to implicate me, or find a way to control me so that I can keep quiet.
Khan was meant to return to the commission tomorrow, but this has been delayed following his shooting incident at the weekend, which left him hospitalized. Babalo Ndanza, Eyewitness News.
And in France, officials say there were at least 300 more deaths than expected during a 5-day heatwave last month. This is an increase of nearly 14%. According to reports, apart from the May heatwave, France experienced a record-breaking heatwave of 11 days earlier this month, and scientists have linked it to climate change. Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu says that more people had died in their homes during the latest heatwave than in previous episodes. Well, gold is trading at $4,020.21 an ounce. The rand is at 16.41 to the dollar, 21.67 to the pound, 18.68 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $72.53 a barrel.
Centurion, we're still dealing with that accident scene N14 northbound before Jean Avenue, slowing down traffic all the way from the N1 Brakfontein interchange, and in Pretoria West. There's also an accident scene on Trans-Oranje approaching the Dustport Tunnel, slowing down traffic.
In your sport, Julian Nagelsmann and Ronald Koeman under pressure as Germany and the Netherlands crash out of the FIFA World Cup. Sweden face France's attacking firepower at the tournament. And Moses Caicedo named new captain of Ecuador.
A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 7 degrees, peaking at 19. Pretoria 6 and 21, and Vereeniging 5 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: police in Gugompo in the Eastern Cape are monitoring a small group of protesters who broke away from an official march in the CBD.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Visit primemediaplus.com to enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Josie.
For Joburg, by Joburg, in Joburg.
Bamise bonke.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 9 minutes past 4. Welcome to the show. We continue keeping up to date with what's happening in the various marches around the country, particularly big in the Durban CBD. We'll catch up with that a little bit later. We have two reporters there. Nkosi Kona Malinga Mnisi and Thabiso Goba is down on the coast in the coastal city as well. But there are other stories that we're going to keep up with as well. In a moment, or shortly at least, we'll be talking about the introduction, as we understand it, from tomorrow of the Aarto system, which would change the way in which our traffic offences are processed, and an accumulation of points could lead to people losing their licenses. There's been criticism, for example, from the civil society group Outa, who say that government is not ready to actually roll this out. We'll get the perspective of the Road Traffic Infringement Agency shortly. That's in about 4 minutes' time. And then good news as well, tomorrow is a reduction in the fuel prices Petrol, diesel and paraffin all coming down nicely. But at what point does that start making a difference to the cost of living and the difficulties that many South Africans are facing in making ends meet? Kevin Lings, Chief Economist at Stanlib Asset Management, joins us with his insights at 10 to 5. After 5, important day at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Karen Moore, legal journalist from News 24, joins us for that. Some of you are commenting on the marches that they've seen and the marches perhaps they've participated in. I also asked a broader question, by the way, in the kind of general theme of taking part in civic protest of various kinds. Is it something you've done in your life? Did you march? Did you demonstrate? Did you form an organization or a committee to try and get something done or stop something happening? And if so, what kind of results did you get out of that? This is what some of you had to say. The number they're using, by the way, you can use as well, 072 702 1702.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Dr. John, good afternoon. Talking about the marches, I've been to marches a number of times, a couple of marches in my life. But then there was a strike when I was working for Birchwood Hotel in 2015 or 14, I can't remember then. I can believe you, man, I will never. It's emotionally draining. It's tiring. You get exhausted so much. Every part of your body, your mind, your soul, it's so tiring. And ever since then, I try and, even if I support the cause, I try hard not to take part in matches, Hidden from Marshall Town. Thank you.
Hi, Dr. John. Exactly what the current speaker is saying. When 1976 started, it wasn't one day only. So this movement and this march to march and this saying illegal immigration and foreigners in general must go, because some of them have got IDs. They receive them fraudulently. Then they call themselves documented. It's only the beginning of March and March. We will fight and support our kids until these people go. Anonymous in Kempton Park.
Interesting sentence at the end there. Foreigners must go because some of them don't have proper documents. I mean, why would you have everybody leave if it's only some people who are breaking the law? I'd be interested to get your perspective on that. 702 Drive, it's 13 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
Karabo Charlie, what's happening out on the roads? It's getting a little tight in Pretoria. Is that protest related, or was there something else happening?
No, definitely not protest related. There's been 2 accidents. Let me start with the one in Pretoria West, where it's an accident scene causing heavy delays on Trans-Orania approaching the Dustport Tunnel. That accident scene in Centurion, some good news, has been cleared. That's on the N14 northbound before Jean Avenue, and traffic should be back to normal shortly. However, in Honeydew, Beyers Naudé remains restricted to traffic between Peter Road and the Honeydew Police Station due to that march taking place. Otherwise, generally, the rest of 702 land pretty quiet. No major delays heading towards Soweto or any other places in Gauteng. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
I was watching Al Jazeera last night and I saw a senior advisor to the president in Nigeria somehow coming across as if he's putting up an ultimatum to our government. What responsibilities are countries where these migrants are coming from taking? There's a reason why people are leaving your country. No one, when they're in a happy country with great opportunities, decide to pack up and leave and go do menial jobs in other countries. I mean, Zimbabwe was saying now, oh, we welcome them back home. This is their home. Are you even taking a moment as Zimbabwe to reflect on why so many of your citizens are leaving and coming here? I don't get a sense of that reflection. I don't. All we hear is, oh yeah, they can come back home. We're happy. We got leaders that are delusional on this continent.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
When Joburg comes together for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk on Sunday, 26 July, FNB will be walking with you because FNB believes that help starts on the ground with people coming together for good. So join FNB on this walk through the iconic Joburg CBD, witness a city on the move, experience the collective action helping to shape a cleaner, safer Joburg, and rediscover the revitalized energy that makes this city unique. Enter now at primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk in proud partnership with FNB.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports, no more disconnected systems, no more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on istratgo.com. istratgo.com.
Let's hear from Shemaine, owner of Vovotello Linwood, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
I wish we had switched sooner. Not only was it quick and easy, but also gave us more favorable premiums.
For restaurants, pharmacies, and all other businesses. Get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's now 17 minutes past 4. Let's focus our attention on something that is about to happen tomorrow. That is the introduction of the Aarto system. It's a system in which, and I'm putting it very simply and broadly, when we commit traffic offences, you accumulate points. If you get above a certain amount of points, you're in danger of having your license suspended. Questions are being asked about whether government is actually ready to put this into play. The original launch date was, I think if I'm correct, in December of last year. There were delays, and tomorrow we hear is the day. Let's get an update. Monde Mkalipi is spokesperson for the Road Traffic Infringement Agency. Mr. Mkalipi, welcome and thanks very much for your time. The organization Outa, they were on with Bongani Bingwa this morning, but on other platforms as well. They've raised some concerns about things they say are not quite ready. One of the things that they're concerned about, for example, is that there are still regulations to be published and that the post office is meant to play some sort of role in this and is not in a great state to do so. We'll go through those individually in a moment, but in broad terms, are you as the RTIA certain that tomorrow is the day and you're ready to go? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John, and to the listeners of 702. Thank you very much for the time once again, John. Yes, as the Road Traffic Infringement Agency, we are ready to roll out Aarto as per the phased approach, which says tomorrow we are starting with 62 municipalities in the 8 provinces. So we are ready on all these matters that we have just highlighted. We have been working with the Aarto National Steering Committee, who have been working on all the logistics, where we have been preparing for the rollout. We have been looking at the training of traffic officers. That has been done, a provision of equipment to issuing authorities. That has been done, a signing of SLA with by the issuing authorities together with the post office. That process is also underway, and we have also ensured that all the necessary stationery has been delivered to the municipalities that are starting from tomorrow. That is the 62 municipalities.
So some municipalities were going to go to court on this. What is the status of that?
Yes, John, one of the entities of the department, I think it's SALGA, they've submitted an urgent application to court, but that matter was dismissed with costs around midday today. So we were at court today. So now we are forging ahead. We are rolling out tomorrow. And we are definitely sure that this is going to be a great success because of great concern to the Road Traffic Infringement Agency is to make sure that we deliver on what we are set up to do, to make sure that Aarto comes in as a road safety intervention so that we are able to reduce the high rate of fatalities that occur on our roads. So that is our main intention at the end of the day.
So the role of the post office, again, I'm relying on what I'm reading. The post office would have a role to play serving infringement notices, other legal documents. Obviously, you can't just presumably deduct people's, give them penalty points without them knowing about it. What role of this is the post office expected to play? And once you've clarified that, perhaps you can just tell us whether you really think they're up to it, given their own problems.
Yes, John, you'll recall that, we ran a pilot on the implementation of Aarto, and we looked at all these different challenges, especially on the serving of Aarto documents to the road users. And that pilot also informed us that we need to come up with perhaps 3 ways of serving of documents. Well, the post office is playing a critical role when it comes to that. One, we're talking about serving documents through registered mail. We have seen the challenges that we have encountered with regard to that part, and we have ironed out all those aspects with the post office. Hence, we are saying we are ready tomorrow. 2, the serving of documents through electronic means is another arrangement that is also in the amendment legislation that is coming into effect tomorrow. Yes, you are going to serve Aarto documents through electronic means, and you should also indicate that that is also going to be very much dependent on the road users themselves, because we are going to give them an option as to which of the 2 or 3 methods of serving of Aarto documents that they would prefer. If they prefer that documents be served through electronic means, then we are going to email those Aarto documents to them. If they prefer to collect them at the post office, then they are going to make sure that they do get documents served to them through registered mail.
I'm as you were speaking, Mr. Mkhaliphi, I could imagine that somebody who is aware that they don't drive particularly well and they're often in trouble will opt for the post office in the knowledge that there will be enough evidence around to say, well, the post office didn't quite do their job. Why don't you just make it mandatory and say you're going to get this on your phone, because you can know with absolute certainty that a delivery by phone is something that would be a matter of electronic record.
Yes, John. Hence, we are not necessarily talking about an email. We are talking about electronic means. Documents are also going to be served on WhatsApp. Even now, as we speak, some of our payment platforms are really assisting with regard to that, to coin messages that are going to be delivered through WhatsApps as well as SMS means. So we are covering all these systems so that road users are able to receive those documents. And as we speak now, even with the post office, it's not like a matter of saying that the person should prove that he or she has collected. Also, the onus is on us as the Road Traffic Infringement Agency to prove that, well, we have made it possible for the documents to be served to the infringer. If we do have that evidence that we have made it possible for the document to be served, even if a person can perhaps come back and submit some sort of a representation to say, yes, I never received the document. If on our side we do have evidence that we made it possible for the documents to arrive at the infringer, then that is enough for us to really proceed to move to the next step in terms of the processing of the infringement notice. So this comes in different steps, because you have the initial stage where the document is served on the infringer, the first 32 days, and then we still open up to the infringer to really challenge or comply in terms of payment. And then the second 32 days, that's when we serve the courtesy letter as the road user, as the Road Traffic Infringement Agency. We serve the courtesy letter, which is a reminder to say, well, on such and such a day, you committed an infringement, and therefore, please come in and comply. Then once the second 32 days to 96 days period comes to an end, and then we move on to the next phase now, which is the enforcement order, the issuance of the enforcement order. Then that's when it becomes difficult, because the system really allows you so much time to really resolve your traffic infringements. You fail within the first 32 days, and then we proceed to the second 32 days or 96 days. If you still fail to comply, then the system shuts you out. That's when it becomes a problem now. Because to be blocked from renewing your driving license, your license disc, even your professional driving permit. traffic infringement agencies, to the road users, please come in. When the system comes into effect tomorrow, please take advantage of all these elective options that the legislation provides, so that we don't find ourselves in a situation where you get blocked from renewing your driving documents. Please take advantage of all the elective options that Aarto provides, so that we can have a compliant road user at the end of the day.
Thank you very much. Monde Mkalipi, Road Traffic Infringement Agency spokesperson. I wonder if you know that you can start getting these penalty points. Is this going to focus your mind and guide you in some way as to how you can become a better driver? Give me your thoughts. 011 883 0702 072 702 1702. 26 minutes past 4.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What does the law say about your culpability if you employ an illegal foreigner?
Only those foreigners needed by our economy are eligible to be employed. When it comes to the employment of those who are unlawful, there are categories of fines. In fact, they've been increased from 10,000 to even 100,000. There's criminal prosecution, possible imprisonment, investigation by authorities, as well as an unintended consequence of reputational damage to the business.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
This Tuesday, everyone can be a millionaire with a chance to win over 200 million rand in total Powerball estimated jackpot. That's 61 million on Powerball and an amazing 139 million rand cascading jackpot on Powerball Extra. If the jackpot is not won on Division 1, it will cascade down to Divisions 2 and 3. Winners must be found. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Civic.
When you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Nedbank is more than just a bank. We're a growth partner because we understand that real success happens when you're looking ahead, spotting opportunities others miss, and planning for tomorrow, today. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Got a bright spark between 10 and 13 at home? Then get them ready for the Whiz Quiz with Bongani Bingwa. 10 questions, 10 chances, up to 10,000 Rand waiting to be won. Every right answer bags $100. Nail them all and they'll score the full 10 grand. Sign them up now on primemediaplus.com. Then catch Bongani Bingwa weekday mornings on 702 to hear if your young genius will take the quiz where brains turn into bucks, because smart kids win big on 702.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. How have the markets been today? I saw a real jump in the oil price. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, John, good afternoon. So oil is up a couple of dollars. The real story perhaps is ABSA, but the JSE All Share down 0.12%, 110,142 points. Financials are down 0.09. Industrials are down 0.75%. Resources are up 0.82%. But ABSA, at the moment, they were down about 9% earlier. They're down near 6.5% at the moment, so they've recovered a little bit. They put out an update today. They warned their headline earnings for the 6 months to the end of the month, which is today, would be up by mid to high single digits. Its return on equity would remain roughly where it was at 14.8% reported last year. I think investors were hoping there would be some change in that. There have been some big changes there under the new-ish CEO, Kenny Fechle. He does say that the new appointments he's been making, he expects that to have a fuller impact over the next little while. But that's still a tough day for ABSA. Thungela down 7.57% as well today. The coal producer saying it's averaged around $88 a ton of coal sold through the Richards Bay coal terminal compared to just around $75 last year. The rand price it's received has also been up. Been able to sell a bit more coal because Transnet is performing better. They're spending 600 million rand on capex this year, but I think investors were hoping for a little bit more from Tungela. Data Tech's down 7%, Fortress B Properties down 4.3%, Dis-Chem down 3.68%, and the Foschini Group down nearly 2.5% as well. Optasia up 3.88%, and Sun International up 2.25%, and 91 and Capitec all up by around 2% at the moment. Old Mutual up roughly the same. We see also that Vodacom confirming that they've managed to meet all the regulatory requirements to buy that 20% of Safaricom. They've now complied with it. That's in Kenya, so they're going ahead with that transaction. In the US, a little bit of a flat open, really, turning a little bit positive now. It's been a tremendous quarter for the US. The Dow Jones is up 0.09, the Nasdaq is up 0.64, the S&P 500 is up 0.29% on the day. The gold price, $4,041.93. It is slightly higher. Platinum, $1,570.31. And Brent crude, John, as you say, $74.21. The rand a little stronger to the dollar, 16.37 to the euro, 18.68 to the British pound, 21.67. Stephen Crotus, EWN Business.
Right, let's catch up with the very latest eyewitness news starting down in Durban. Here's Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. While demonstrators at Durban's anti-illegal immigration march have criticised what they describe as government's excessive spending for security during today's protest action. Hundreds of marchers made their way through Durban city centre to the local police station where they handed over a memorandum of demands. They are calling on government to prioritise the interests of South Africans, tighten immigration laws and accelerate the deportation of undocumented migrants. Malingamnisi reports.
A heavy security presence was on display throughout Durban with large numbers of police officers, helicopters, specialized vehicles and private security deployed to monitor the march. But demonstrators told EWN they believed the extensive security operation was unnecessary, arguing the resources would have been better spent strengthening the police's capacity to combat illegal immigration and enforce existing laws.
The message today is that government, I'm sure, is aware that everywhere where there are marches and there are demonstrations, everything is peaceful. So one is asking the big question, what will the 600 million be doing? And after this, we will be asking government to tell us blow by blow what happened to 600 million, because everything is peaceful. The organizers of the marches, the organizers of the protests, the organizers of demonstrations are on top of this thing. Everything is under control.
Meanwhile, March and March founder Jacinta Ngobese Zuma praised demonstrators for maintaining discipline throughout the protest. She described the march as a historic moment that would be remembered as a turning point in South Africa's fight against illegal immigration. Kosi Khona Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News in Durban.
Meanwhile, protesters have handed over a memorandum to police at the Sunnyside police station in Pretoria, with demonstrators calling for swift action. After handing over their memorandum, the group received assurances from the police. Our reporter Annelisa Fandese has the latest.
Protesters arrived at the Sunnyside police station in Pretoria under a heavy police presence, gathering outside the station to deliver their memorandum of demands. The protest remained peaceful as organizers addressed the crowd before a delegation handed over the document to police. The situation on the ground remained calm throughout the handover, with law enforcement maintaining a visible presence. Police accepted the memorandum and assured the demonstrators their concerns would be processed through the relevant channels. Officials also indicated they would work with immigration authorities on matters raised in the document. Annelita Fandese, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
In the Western Cape, areas across Cape Town where migrants have homes and businesses have been mostly quiet today. Many of them feared violence linked to the informal deadline for undocumented foreign nationals to leave South Africa by today. In Bellville, Ethiopian shop owner Yishak Yusuf, who has been in South Africa for 25 years, says he still hopes that no chaos erupts.
I hope and I pray that everything goes smooth, even for the people of South Africa as well. They really concerned, really it is, and we also been impacted by this thing.
Yusuf says he is also worried about how children will interpret what has been playing out across the country today.
We all have, and we come here to either way, or better life, or political things, and whatever reason that we are here. It is government should do something about it.
And in Italy, 4 people have been arrested for allegedly carrying out an October bomb attack targeting a journalist. It's understood the journalist had been threatened by the mafia and had lived under police protection for several years. 3 of the suspects have been placed in pre-trial detention and the 4th is under house arrest. AFP is reporting that the probe into the blast involved a close examination of video surveillance systems, phone records, as well as scientific analysis of the explosive device. A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Lows of between 5 and 7 degrees and highs of between 19 and 21.
Bumper-to-bumper traffic in Pretoria West on Trans-Orania between Vormhagen and the Dustpot Tunnel, while in Honeydew, Beyers-Naudé remains restricted to traffic. That's between Peter Road and the Honeydew Police Station due to an ongoing march.
The top story in EWN. Demonstrators at Durban's anti-illegal immigration march have criticised what they describe as government's excessive spending for security during today's protests.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Lots of press briefings about the fact that there is intelligence to deal with any criminality and all of the things that are anticipated. I'm not hearing the conversation about what happens on the 1st. It's almost as if everything is about the 30th of June and nothing but the 30th of June. But man, there's the 1st, then the 2nd. If indeed there is some nefarious activities planned, then they've got you. Because all of your resources have been focused on this one day about the 30th of June, the 30th of June.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday at 10 to 9, featuring Lotto Land. The Chief Marketing Officer, Mareka Haywood, will be in conversation with Bongani Bingwa. And join us every Wednesday as we highlight the efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and make a difference together.
35 years ago, we started asking a simple question. What if change wasn't something to survive, but something to invest in? Markets have risen and fallen. Technology has rewritten the rules. The world has shifted in ways nobody predicted. Through it all, we kept investing with conviction for the long term, for you. Change is opportunity. We're always ready to invest in it. 91. Investing for a world of change. 91 is an authorized FSP.
Joburg is more than a city. It's a vibrant energy that connects us all. That's why on Sunday, 26 July, you, ABSA, and thousands of others are coming together to rediscover and celebrate the iconic inner city in the 702 Jozi Majozi Walk the Talk. Join the movement with ABSA and enter the 702 Jozi Majozi Walk the Talk before tickets run out. Secure your tickets at 702walkthetalk.co.za or primemediaplus.com. Jozi, ABSA sees you. Asambe. ABSA is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Terms and conditions apply.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, Dr. John. It's Oli here from Joburg. Dr. John, my first march was June 76. I still get goosebumps when I picture it. Yeah, it started peacefully. Yes, and as youngsters, we never thought it would end the way it ended. I mean, whatever followed after. But to register dissatisfaction as citizens, this has to happen. And I always say, South Africans are very, very patient. South Africans are patient, but when it comes to the breaking point, you can never stop South Africans. We will go forward. So this is the beginning of the other beginnings. It's not going to stop. We've registered our concern. The country is in tatters. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, and on the theme of 76, thank you, by the way, for that voice note. Simon offers a different point of view and says, sorry, we can't compare this march to that of 1976. Then, Simon says, there was unity to support the cause of that march, unlike this one, which is full of politics fueled by certain influential groups who are anti the GNU. Such groups are using both President Ramaphosa as well as the foreign migrants as scapegoats for our country's socio-economic challenges. So, Simon, with a different view, please give us your thoughts. This one, visuals of Alex, says Lesego from the air, point towards a disaster waiting to happen there at Alex. Is the city going to tell us come summer rains that they didn't realize that there are structures built on the other side of the flood line? Speaking of Alex, by the way, I mean, the aerial pictures being provided by Newsroom Africa, and I've got that screen very much in line of sight, suggesting that there are serious clashes taking shape there and that the police have massively increased their presence. We'll chat to a journalist from the community station Alex FM. That update coming your way at after 5 o'clock. But if you live in Alex and you've got something you want to share with us, please do call, because we rely on you as well. 072 702 1702. It's 19 minutes to 5.
EWN Sport.
So Tolakele, fallout, I believe, in Dutch football circles after that defeat to Morocco. What are they saying?
The EWN World Cup Desk. The latest scores, the biggest stories, and the moments everyone's talking about.
While John Zlatan Ibrahimovic has accused Ronald Koeman of completely betraying the Netherlands' traditional philosophy by adopting a defensive setup that ultimately backfired. His comments come after the Dutch exited the FIFA World Cup after a penalty shootout loss to Morocco, will now take on Canada in the last 16. Speaking after their game, Denzel Dumfries said the Netherlands were frustrated following an underwhelming campaign.
Of course, I didn't hear the words of Zlatan. At the moment, I cannot respond on that. We fought until the end. We did everything what was in our power. Of course, it was not our best game, but we have to acknowledge. But at the moment, we are very frustrated. That's all I can say.
Pressure is now mounting on both Koeman and Julian Nagelsmann, with the latter saying he wants to remain in charge of Germany despite their shock exit at the hands of Paraguay. 38-year-old Nagelsmann became the youngest coach to feature in a knockout match in 40 years, but that wasn't enough for the four-time champions who crashed out early for a third straight tournament after group stage exits in 2018 and 2022. Die Mannschaft lost a World Cup shootout for the very first time after three of their players failed to score from the spot. As for today's action, it continues with the clashes between Mexico and Ecuador. Ivory Coast are up against Norway, while France square off with Sweden. Graham Potter says the Swedes will have to play the game of their lives if they're to stop Le Bleu from progressing to the next round.
Yeah, I'm not sure weakness is necessarily a word I would use when describing the French side, to be honest. I think they've got quality all over. From the start, off the bench, they can clearly change things if they need to, but we have full respect for the opponent, obviously, for the quality of the individuals they are and the team, what they've achieved. They've won the World Cup, fantastic manager. So we know the exciting challenge that awaits us. We have to play the game of our lives, clearly. And the boys are in a really good place, I think, to be able to do that.
And Moises Caicedo has been elevated to Ecuador captain after incumbent Enner Valencia stepped down from the role mid-tournament. Valencia says the shift in the team's hierarchy is due to the new generation of talent taking centre stage. The South American side are through to the knockout stages for the first time in their history and will take on co-host Mexico in the round of 32. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
From kickoff to the final whistle, this is the EWN World Cup Desk. EWN Traffic.
16 minutes now to 5. This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS the word out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Karabo Charlie with the latest.
Thanks, John. Well, at this stage in Pretoria West, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on Trans-Orania between Vormhagen and the Dashboard Tunnel. Not clear what's causing this delay. If you're in and around the area, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702. Looking at the marches taking place across Gauteng at this stage, things seem fairly quiet and no violence have been reported in Soweto, where the march has been concluded, as well as in the Joburg CBD and the Pretoria CBD. However, in Honeydew, we still have some restrictions road restrictions. This is on Beyers Nordia between Peter Road and the Honeydew police station. That march is still carrying on, but peaceful at this stage. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Sunning Hill at Witkoppen and Rivonia Road, as well as in Midrand at Lever and Olifantsfontein Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 51. Did I use too many emojis in that text? Did I sound too eager? Oh, the mental gymnastics. Well, with the Outsurance pointsmen on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
The Busgate Soweto String Ensemble will dazzle with a rich program ranging from European classics to Afro jazz and Kwela, featuring soloists Koketso and Tsegofatso Mpela, Tsidiso and Bongani Boikanyo, all members of one remarkable musical family. This unforgettable performance blends Mozart, Bruch and Brahms, celebrating 29 years of transforming young lives through music. The concert takes place at the Linda Auditorium on Sunday, 19 July at 3 p.m. Book your tickets now at Quicket.
Do you ever call you like to sell, but don't trust your uncle or your pal? Then we buy cars, it's just for you. Buying cars is what we do. We offer service with a smile. We always go the extra mile. Use a place that you trust and sell your car to us.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
On Sunday, 26 July, Absa and Mazda are making your 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk truly iconic, with a chance to win a brand new Mazda 2 on the day. To enter, download, register and transact on the Absa banking app between 26 June and 20 July 2026. Josie, Absa sees you. Asambe. Absa is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Competition terms and conditions apply.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, one of the other things happening tomorrow, good news, is that we're going to see a fall in fuel prices. And by that, I mean petrol, yes, coming down around 2 Rand. Big fall in the price of diesel. That's the wholesale price. And excellent news for South African families really struggling. A big fall in the price of paraffin. 5 Rand 23 a litre is the drop. So there's a lot of good news there. But the bigger question is this: does one big fall like that actually make any kind of significant difference in terms of the financial pressures most households are under? Will we start seeing this make its way into better inflation numbers, or will we need a few more falls for that to happen? Kevin Lings is chief economist at Stanlib Asset Management, and he joins us now on 702 Drive. Mr. Lings, welcome, and thanks very much for giving us your time. Obviously good news, but I don't know, is it enough to move the needle? Good afternoon.
Hi, John. Yeah, it's good news. Obviously, anytime the fuel price comes down, that's helpful. But no, it's not enough, unfortunately. You know, the price is going, let's take petrol. The price comes down to 26 Rand, just above 26 Rand. If you think at the beginning of the year, the price was 20 Rand. So
yes,
even after the decline, we're still 6 Rand above a litre where we were at the beginning of the year. So we haven't been able to claw that back. And so in order to get back to that level, yeah, we need the oil price to come down quite a lot more. It sits at about $73, $74 a barrel for Brent, and we need that down at $60. So if we can get that, then yeah, then we would be okay. But obviously, in order to get the oil price down, we need a lasting resolution to the US-Iran conflict and a full opening of the Strait of Hormuz, and therefore an increase in supply. And it just doesn't feel like we're going there in a very rapid way. So You would say there's tentative improvements in that region, but it doesn't feel convincing yet.
Yeah, in terms of prices, the expression I heard from someone is they go up like rockets and come down like feathers. Could we put a little more pressure on our retail sector, who do factor in increased fuel prices rather promptly, but don't always take them out? Or do you think in general they're doing their best?
Yeah, I think there is pressure. The pressure is not necessarily, people speaking out or agitating for lower prices. The pressure is weakness in the economy, and it's actually quite difficult for retailers and other businesses to pass on all of these price effects. When we look at price activity, I would say there's quite a lot that is actually being absorbed when you consider that for many businesses, it's not just the petrol price, right? It's salaries, it's electricity, it's a myriad of different costs they're having to absorb. And is all of that simply being automatically passed on? And I would say no, there's quite a large absorption because the customer base is under pressure. Consumers don't have a huge amount of extra cash, and so that creates the pressure. We've just had an increase in interest rates. That creates additional pressure. So I don't know that we can do a lot there. Obviously, if consumers are much more diligent in how they approach their spending, that adds to the pressure. And I think you would get some response out of that type of activity. But ultimately, for us to come down in order to make a meaningful difference.
Yeah, and I suppose the one thing that you've just put out some numbers, which I'm going to share with listeners in a moment. But the one thing that would make a huge difference, of course, to quality of life is if people were working. And the numbers that you've shared on various platforms is that we now have the lowest level of formal sector employment since the third quarter of 2022. Is this just a slow combination of factors, or is there something happening that's accelerating in worrying ways?
I don't think there's a significant, change that has caused this. I think this is coming about over a number of years where the growth rate, if you go look at last year's growth rate, 1.1, look at the year before, it was 0.5%. Look at the year before, it was 0.8%. So if you took the last 3 years, and in those 3 years, as you say, we've lost 430,000 formal sector jobs. That's massive in a period of 3 years. And the reason is that you just don't have the economic growth. It's averaged less than 1% over that time. And a big reason why that's occurring is we just don't have fixed investment. We're just not building stuff. Obviously, anything to do with construction or the railway system or water, sanitation, all of those things are lagging. We shop okay. If I look at shopping activity over that time, it's been reasonably okay. The shopping centers do all right. But it's not the area that really creates growth and employment. And so this country is just not building for the future, and that's letting us down. And if we don't do that, we get very subdued growth. And with that subdued growth, it's difficult to hold on to the labor force that you've got. So ultimately, that's what creates the real pressure. Is when you have this constant. It's not like it's dramatic once off. It's we lost another 80,000 jobs in the quarter. We lost X thousand jobs this quarter, and over time it all mounts up. And the net result is the unemployment rate remains high, and consumers and households are under enormous pressure. And obviously, when something like the oil price or the petrol price goes up, then people feel it even more.
Right.
But if you said to me, what's the real problem? The real problem is we're just not growing this economy fast enough. By that I mean we're just not adding nowhere near enough jobs to satisfy the needs of the population.
Thank you so much. Kevin Lings, Chief Economist at Stanlib Asset Management.
Drive Home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Well, given the scale and extent of protests around immigration issues in Durban, there was a lot of focus on what today's march in that city would produce. Nkosi Khona Malinga Mnisi has been covering that throughout the day. He was out in the Point area of Durban, which is where the march is headed, to the police station on Point Road to present a memorandum there. Nkosi Khona, in terms of what you've seen in Durban today, and given how much of an issue this has been in the city for a while, would you say the organizers got the crowd they were expecting? Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you and Dr. John, as well as to the listeners. Absolutely. I think they really put in a lot of work over a number of months, because having lived in Durban last year, March and March was out quite often, protesting, but also then setting up shop, in essence, outside, for example, your Eddington Hospital, and checking for whether or not there were any undocumented foreign nationals there. But obviously, they probably had anticipated even more numbers. You speak of the ally of the movement, for example, Nkosi Khona Mthagathi Ndabandaba. He had said that he is going to be leading about 1 million men who are going to be in support of this day, and he estimates that he managed to gather about 250,000. And some of the challenges he says in getting, the numbers that they essentially wished for were around perhaps, he in fact said he didn't believe that, all the taxis were operating how they would on a daily basis. He's also lamented the statement by the officials at national level of Santaco in terms of how they went about their approach. You'd recall, John, that recently they hosted a briefing and said that for them it's business as usual. But I think they pulled quite a sizable crowd. I mean, I think it's well within the thousands in terms of the crowd that we saw leave King Dinizulu Park around the Berea area in Durban earlier today. And then, of course, as you rightfully said, John, heading to the Point police station to hand over that memorandum of demand. So those activities now having also concluded. But I think they really pulled quite sizable and quite a good quantity of people in support of their cause today.
Nkosi Khona Malinga Mnisi out in Durban in the Point Road area as that march concludes. Of course, I think it's a concern, at the end of the formal process of marches and, obviously the marshals and the organizers and the leaders, a lot of that disperses. And then, of course, the concern is what happens as we move towards the end of the day. But so far, so good. In Durban, it would seem. 702 Drive.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What does the law say about your culpability if you employ an illegal foreigner?
Only those foreigners needed by our economy are eligible to be employed. When it comes to the employment of those who are unlawful, there are categories of fines. In fact, they've been increased from 10,000 to even 100,000. There's criminal prosecution, possible imprisonment, investigation by authorities, as well as an unintended consequence of reputational damage to the business.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
When the people of Joburg unite for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk on Sunday, 26 July, your safety will be our priority. Working closely with the South African Police Service, the JMPD, private security teams, emergency services, city wardens and other key stakeholders, there's a complete and comprehensive safety plan in place every step of the way. And there's safe park and ride to the start at Ellis Park, thanks to Gautrain and Prasa. So come along and walk the iconic inner city with us by entering on primemediaplus.com. Do it now. The 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, hosted by the city of Joburg. Walk with the people, for our Jozi. Babize bonke. More on primemediaplus.com.
So the other day I get this call from an insurance company. They asked if they could quote me. I said, quote me? I can't remember what I said. But if you're still thinking about it, it must have been pretty good. Mom always said I have a way with words. They just put down the phone. I don't get it.
Don't get that insurance. Get Pineapple. It's easy to get and online. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. T's and C's apply.
Is there a word for the feeling of a road disappearing over the horizon? Beyonding? What about the feeling you get when you see sunlight flickering through rows of trees? Sun fizzing. Anyway, some things don't like to be explained. They just ask to be felt. Like the feeling of a drive built around you. Technology that's human first makes you one with your car in a way that you can't explain. You can only feel. And there's a word for that. Mazda. Wonder awaits. At the 702 Josie Majosi Walk the Talk, snap and share all 5 Mazda Wonder experiences using hashtag MazdaSA to stand a chance to win a share of 50,000 Rand.
This is EWN.
Stranded Malawian nationals to spend the night at Musina showgrounds, and police investigate a shooting in the Joburg CBD. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Thousands of stranded Malawian nationals will be spending the night at the Musina showgrounds near the Beitbridge border post after spending the day queuing at the Home Affairs office. The group of more than 8,000 people arrived in Musina yesterday and spent the night sleeping on the concrete outside that Home Affairs office. They are seeking the necessary documentation to leave South Africa, as well as the final biometric verification from the department. With Home Affairs now closed for the day, the group has been moved to the showgrounds. We'll take you live now to our reporter Alpha Ramashwana, who is in Musina for us. Alpha, it's been a long day for the Malawian nationals, hasn't it?
Bali, it's been an extremely long day for them, and while it's been a long day of queuing under Musina's scorching heat, it appears that Malawian nationals are in for an even longer night at the local showgrounds. A thick layer of dust hangs heavily in the air as the ground beneath them is nothing more than dry sand and withered grass. But despite the harsh conditions that they are going to sleep in, several children can be seen joyfully playing, which is in contrast to the mood of their parents. Bali, this Malawian national, says home is where the heart is.
Yeah, our Malawi is safe. When we go there, it's safe. There's nothing wrong. But here we are not safe. Here we are not safe because if you can see this police only this evening, but when it's midnight, you can't find them.
Bali, the sight of a happy child and a frustrated parent is the sight of the day here at the Musina showgrounds. And meanwhile, government says only 3,099 Malawians and Zimbabweans have left South Africa through the Beitbridge border today. For Eyewitness News, I'm Alpha Ramshwana, reporting live from the Musina showgrounds in Limpopo.
While similar scenes are also playing out in the Western Cape, where Gift of the Givers says the situation at the Home Affairs offices in Epping, where thousands of foreign nationals are still waiting to be transported back to their home countries, has become a humanitarian crisis. More than 2,000 foreign nationals from various African countries are camping inside and outside the temporary repatriation centre. The Epping facility is the only official site in Cape Town where voluntary repatriation requests are being processed before they are being transported to their countries. Carlo Peterson has more.
Humanitarian relief organisation Gift of the Givers says those seeking voluntary repatriation are mostly from Zimbabwe but include Malawians, Namibians and Mozambican nationals. Gift of the Givers spokesperson Ali Sablé says the organisation sprung into action after hundreds of foreign nationals started arriving at the centre on Sunday.
When the word went out that this centre will be opened up, when our teams arrived here at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning, we already found droves of taxis and e-hailing drivers dropping off families here from other parts of the province.
Sablé says people came from as far as Robertson, Swellendam and Malmesbury.
During the course of the day on Sunday, we experienced that harsh weather in the Western Cape, and the people were standing with young babies and children and elderly people standing in the rain. We knew there was a humanitarian crisis brewing.
Sablé says the organisation will also be providing relief for the foreign nationals at the Beitbridge border. 5 buses have since arrived to transport people back to their home countries. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News at the Department of Home Affairs in Epping.
We shift to Johannesburg now, where police are investigating a shooting incident that brought a tense end to today's anti-illegal immigration protest in the CBD. The incident unfolded after the main march dispersed, with smaller splinter groups continuing to move through parts of the CBD. The main procession concluded at the Guaimaimai market in the heart of the CBD, where organizers declared the march a success. Officers have now cordoned off the scene as investigations into that shooting continue. Mongezi Koko has more.
An estimated 10,000 protesters marched through Johannesburg's inner city earlier today as part of the planned 30 June anti-illegal immigration demonstration, which was largely peaceful despite a few isolated confrontations. But tensions escalated later when it's understood a person inside an apartment building fired shots towards a splinter group of protesters. The crowd responded by throwing rocks at the building, shattering windows, before police intervened to prevent further violence. The building has since been cordoned off while officers search for the person believed to have fired the shots. No official details on injuries or arrests have been released, with police saying investigations are continuing. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
Protesters have handed over a memorandum to police at the Sunnyside police station in Pretoria, with demonstrators calling for swift action. After handing over their memorandum, the group then received assurances from police. Our reporter Annelita Fandese has the latest.
Protesters arrived at the Sunnyside police station in Pretoria under a heavy police presence, gathering outside the station to deliver their memorandum of demands. The protest remained peaceful as organizers addressed the crowd before a delegation handed over the document to police. The situation on the ground remained calm throughout the handover, with law enforcement maintaining a visible presence. Police accepted the memorandum and assured the demonstrators their concerns would be processed through the relevant channels. Officials also indicated they would work with immigration authorities on matters raised in the document. Annelita Fandese, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
And rescue operations are underway in Pakistan following a roof collapse. According to reports, 8 children died as a result and several others have been injured. Search and rescue teams fear the death toll could continue to rise. Health authorities have declared an emergency at a nearby hospital, directing the relevant senior administration officials to attend to the children who are being brought in. While gold is trading at $4,046.28 an ounce, the rand is at 16.38 to the dollar, 21.70 to the pound, 18.71 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $72.53 a barrel.
Pretoria West, we still have bumper traffic on Trans-Orania between Vomhagen and the Dustport Tunnel. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Sunning Hill at Witkoppen and Rivonia Road, as well as in four-ways at Winnie Mandela Drive and Monte Casino Boulevard.
In your sport, Ivory Coast up against Norway in the last 32 at the FIFA World Cup. The Proteas women hoping to continue their T20 World Cup winning run against England. And Jasmine Paolini and Taylor Fritz among those through to the second round at Wimbledon.
A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 7 degrees, peaking at 19. Pretoria 6 and 21, and Vereeniging 5 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: thousands of stranded Malawian nationals will be spending the night at the Musina Showgrounds near the Beitbridge border post after spending the day queuing at the local Home Affairs office.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
We're calling on Joburg to walk the inner city with us. In 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 9 minutes past 5. Good to have you with us on the show. Coming up over the next hour on 702 Drive, we're going to keep covering the marches in different parts of the country. We're going to go down at about 20 minutes to 6 to the Joburg community of Alexandra, where there's been some clashes. We'll be chatting to one of the journalists who'll join us from the newspaper Alex FM. I beg your pardon, the radio station Alex FM. Kamva Mtombeni is on the spot, on the ground, and we'll hear from Kamva a little bit later. And then some troubled times as well out in Germiston. We understand police fired rubber bullets earlier. Our reporter Dimakatso Lishoro is heading in that direction. We'll chat to her as soon as she's able to give us an update. We're getting from some of our listeners reports of people breaking windows in Yeovil and trying to loot bottle stores. If there's anyone who's in Yeovil and maybe has eyes and ears on that, please do call us and just let us know what's going on there as well. But there are and have been other things happening today. The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has been, I think, particularly interesting today. The MK Party Member of Parliament, Vusi Shongwe, has told the Commission about his interactions with Major General Feroz Khan. And Karen Morn, who is with News 24, legal journalist there, will be joining us shortly to give us an update on what's going on. Some of you commenting on the petrol price going down tomorrow, but inflation not expected to move much in that regard, although maybe there'll be some further decreases in the price of all the fuels, petrol, diesel and paraffin, all getting knocked down quite substantially tomorrow, which is good news. But some of you have got comments on that. Keep them coming, please, on 072 702 1702.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Hello, John and the listeners. I wish people can stop aligning this much with politics. Some of us are not even interested in politics, but we want the right thing to happen in our country. We are tired. Some of us, we wake up in the evening and there are people standing in front of us in our bedrooms. We don't know them, we don't know the language they are talking. We want people to be documented. We want people to have fingerprints. That is all. It's not about politics. Politics, maybe they come, but for some of us, it's not about politics. It's about our safety. We've been impatient for a very long time in our country. Thank you.
Hi, John. I actually think that the problem, the biggest problem that we've got is that the petrol price comes down, but not one of the suppliers will ever drop their price on what they are supplying us. Yet, when it goes up, they put their prices up due to the fuel price. So, you do the mathematics.
Yeah, I assume, Rudy, thank you for that. You're referring to people who increase prices, saying, look, we had to do it because we're moving goods and services around. Is that generally people's experience, that things that go up in price almost never come down? I mean, I don't sort of methodically go through these things, but it seems to me with the competition, for example, in the supermarket space, there's very aggressive discounting going on. And I remember Stephen Curtis had a guest on, and I can't remember which supermarket chain they were from, or maybe it was an analyst of large-scale retail in general, but was saying that they are having to discount heavily in order to make any kind of profit at all. So do prices never move downwards? Sometimes move downwards, don't move far enough? Give me your thoughts on that as well. 072 702 1702. Just another report coming in saying that there's the SANDF is now in Hillbrow, where apparently a car has been torched. That's coming through from ENCA. Again, if it's something you're aware of or have seen, please do give us a call on that. 13 minutes past 5.
EWN Traffic.
Okay, let's give you the latest from out on the roads. Karabo Charlie, is it kind of easing up a little bit?
Yeah, regarding protests, things have eased a little bit. Most of the marches have dispersed, but yeah, I can confirm, John, there was a vehicle that was satellite in the Hillbrow area, but I think the police have handled the situation. Things have calmed down in the area, but hey, who knows, it can erupt. So let us know what's happening in Hillbrow at this stage. Please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic. At this stage in Pretoria West, we still have bumper-to-bumper traffic on Trans-Orania between Vormhagen and the Dustport Tunnel, while in Eldorado Park, roadwork still slowing down traffic. This is on the N12 westbound between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, you can also SMS us on 31702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Minister Mameluko Kubai. We're an anxious nation today, are we not?
I guess South Africans have the right to expect to be protected, and we can assure them that the state will definitely ensure that their lives and their livelihoods are protected.
The President has said there's no national shutdown, but already we are seeing many businesses have taken extra precautions, some opting not to open. Certainly, police visibility is welcome, but many using even private security to safeguard their businesses.
We work together with private sector in terms of business against crime. We as the state have said that it's a normal day. The President has announced.
What happens next, Minister?
We'll continue to have things under control. We have an obligation as the state to protect South Africans.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
This Tuesday, everyone can be a millionaire with a chance to win over 200 million rand in total Powerball estimated jackpot. That's 61 million rand on Powerball and an amazing 139 million rand cascading jackpot on Powerball Extra. If the jackpot is not won on Division 1, it will cascade down to Divisions 2 and 3. Winners must be found. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Civic.
Let's hear from Dr. Armand, owner of Monument Dental, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
It was one call and I was covered immediately. We are very happy with the premium we're paying. I wish I did it sooner.
For dentistries, general medical practices, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Ready to go?
No, can't.
Your mother raised you. She can look after him for one day.
But he's just your baby.
He's 7.
Just your baby.
I've packed his favorite toy and blanket.
Okay, just grab his Hills food.
Always.
We know that you only want the best for your small dog, which is why Hills has developed expert, science-backed nutrition to meet the unique needs of small dogs and help them live their best lives across their longer lifespans. Hills Pet Nutrition. Science does more.
702 and the Discam Foundation are shining the spotlight on the health matters you want to know more about. Here's what we explored this month.
An estimated 10 million tons of food is wasted annually while families are going hungry. That's the hard fact. The Discam Foundation, what we do is we provide nutritious meals to vulnerable children. We were able to provide 3.6 million nutritious meals to ECDs around the country annually. And it sounds like a lot, but it's really a drop in the ocean. We do food gardens. We are now going out with our hydroponic gardens. So we're going out and we're teaching sustainable food solutions.
In Conversation on Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Brought to you by the Discam Foundation. Caring for the community on 702.
Joburg is more than a city. It's a vibrant energy that connects us all. That's why on Sunday, 26 July, you, ABSA, and thousands of others are coming together to rediscover and celebrate the iconic inner city in the 702 Jozi Majozi Walk the Talk. Join the movement with ABSA and enter the 702 Jozi Majozi Walk the Talk before tickets run out. Secure your tickets at 702walkthetalk.co.za or primemediaplus.com. Jozi, ABSA sees you. Asambe. ABSA is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Terms and conditions apply.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, let's focus our attention now on the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Appearing before the Commission, MK Party Member of Parliament Vusi Shongwe, who was also an alternate member for his party at Parliament's Ad Hoc Committee. that was looking into the issues that were raised by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. In other words, covering similar ground to what the Madlanga Commission is covering, albeit in a somewhat different way, I think it's fair to say. Karen Morn, legal journalist at News 24, has been watching today's proceedings rather closely and joins us now. Karen, why was MK Party MP Shongwe there today at all? What actually led to his appearance?
Well, essentially what happened was he was there to testify about how crime intelligence head or central top cop Feroz Khan, who of course we know was shot in highly disputed circumstances on Sunday evening, essentially had video called him after arranging a meeting through two associates who Shongwe believed were involved in the cigarette industry in KwaZulu-Natal, Imran and Mr. Kaji, and they had arranged this meeting through Jacob Zuma, the former president, and it was at this meeting that they then said to him that someone wanted to speak to Shongwe, and then handed the phone on his version, and of course Feroz Khan was on the phone to talk to him.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously he spoke about this in Parliament. I think he raised this when he was questioning Paul O'Sullivan, if I'm not mistaken, and the Commission then wanted to hear from him. So what were the key things, the things of greatest significance that Vusi Shongwe put before the committee?
Well, I think the big discrepancy, the difference here is that as far as I'm aware, Mr. Shongwe did not raise this issue of being offered 10 million rand or 2 million rand, security tender in order just to step back from asking questions or demanding Khan's presence at the ad hoc committee. He didn't really give a huge amount of detail as to what was required or would have been required of him to get this alleged benefit, which he says was never given to him, or, he maintained he hadn't given them his phone number, so they could not get hold of him. But, I mean, he said essentially Feroz Khan had told him, amongst other things, "You are suffocating me," in apparent reference to the fact that the MKP had been very keen on calling Khan to deal with a number of issues related to his alleged protection or involvement in so-called cover-ups linked to members of the Carney Links industry, family, that of course being the well-known cigarette company that has links to the EFF and Julius Malema. And so that was essentially the major difference here. He said he did not open a criminal case in relation to this, but he felt that, and no one had ever subsequently asked him about this Khan phone call after he disclosed it in Parliament. And he said he was highly grateful for the opportunity to now raise this in the context of the Madlanga Commission.
In terms of, does he know much about Feroz Khan? I mean, I suppose any witness who can shed light on Major General Khan becomes doubly important now in the context that Major General Khan himself is not going to be testifying anytime soon if what his lawyers are saying about his medical condition is an accurate forecast in that regard. I mean, was this mainly dealing with this single meeting?
Yes, I mean, there was an attempt by Shongwe to raise certain other issues in relation to the unfolding IDAC investigation into certain high-level crime intelligence officials. We, of course, know that Vusi Katmatlala will be in court tomorrow to do a plea and sentence deal. So he did go into a lot of apparent raising his concerns about IDAC and those prosecutions. But it was really very much focused on this Khan interaction. And it was very apparent from the lack of questioning from the commissioners that they did not necessarily feel that some of the other issues were specifically important for their investigation. This is really about creating a situation where Feroz Khan or his lawyers or someone, if he is indeed in a position of health to respond to these allegations, is feeling more and more pressure to put his version of events on record, or face the very real and distinct possibility that the Madlanga Commission will say, well, we gave you every opportunity to deal with this, you chose not to, and we are going to make prima facie findings against you in relation to these things. The big question, of course, as well, is who are the Kajis? Who are these, these brothers who allegedly make this offer and have enough political clout to then organize a meeting through former President Jacob Zuma, who Shongwe was at pains to say in a meeting with Duduzane, his son Duduzane, had expressed surprise that this was the reason that these men wanted to meet with him and had requested this meeting with him, as this had not been disclosed to him up front.
Thanks so much. Karen Morn, legal journalist at News 24. Another interesting and important day at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, 5:25.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12. I was watching Al Jazeera last night and I saw a senior advisor to the president in Nigeria somehow coming across as if he's putting up an ultimatum to our government. What responsibilities are countries where these migrants are coming from taking? There's a reason why people are leaving your country. No one, when they're in a happy country with great opportunities, decide to pack up and leave and go do menial jobs in other countries. I mean, Zimbabwe was saying now, oh, we welcome them back home. This is their home. Are you even taking a moment as Zimbabwe to reflect on why so many of your citizens are leaving and coming here? I don't get a sense of that reflection. I don't. All we hear is, oh yeah, they can come back home. We're happy. We've got leaders that are delusional on this continent.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
When you're walking the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk on Sunday, 26 July, keep your eyes open because Mazda is bringing wonder to the 8-kilometer route. There'll be 5 Mazda wonder experiences, including a piano performance, a world of color, a bubble field, a Japanese garden, and the Mazda Wonder Hub. Visit one of the 5, then capture and share your wonder moment on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. Tag and follow at Mazda SA using hashtag Mazda SA, and you could win your share of 50,000 Rand. Mazda, where wonder awaits. T's and C's apply.
At the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, snap and share all 5 Mazda Wonder experiences using hashtag Mazda SA to stand a chance to win a share of 50,000 Rand.
Yes! It's Decofern's birthday sale. So, with 15 to 40% off and more, then technically, this 12.99 Jozi dining chair is 17.19 for free. Free!
Honey, that's not how maths works.
It's birthday maths. Celebrate our birthday in-store or at decofurnsa.co.za with 15 to 40% and more off absolutely everything. Decofern birthday maths. Don't question it, just save. T's and C's apply.
On Sunday, 26 July, Absa and Mazda are making your 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk truly iconic, with a chance to win a brand new Mazda 2 on the day. To enter, download, register and transact on the Absa banking app between 26 June and 20 July 2026. Jozi, Absa sees you. Asambe. Absa is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Competition terms and conditions apply.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. What have the markets been doing today?
Good afternoon to you, John. So the markets have been sort of broadly kind of positive. I mean, the JSE didn't end that nicely. It was up 0.04% on the day, 110,314 points, partly because while Brent was a little higher, gold prices were a little higher, and that sort of given some shares one or two things to look at. Financials up 0.06, industrials up down 0.78, and then resources up 1.1%. I think people just sort of having a deep think about what is going on in terms of commodity markets. That said, though, Thungela down 7.5%. The oil company they said that their coal, so that basically they were able to average around $88 per ton of coal sold through the Richards Bay coal terminal. They had a pre-close update. That's compared to just $75 last year. In rand terms, the price they received also increased. They've been able to sell a bit more because Transnet's performing better. They're spending about 600 million rand on capex. But I think investors really just wanted a little bit more. Absa also battling today, down 6.63%, was down 9% at one point today. They had a pre-close update. They said headline earnings for the 6 months to the end of the 6-month period, which is today, would be up by mid to high single digits. Its return on equity would remain roughly where it was at 14.8%, reported last year. And the CEO, Kenny Fichler, who, John, for some reason would rather be the CEO of Absa than the mayor of Joburg. I think that's probably, what would the economists call it? A rational decision. He is saying that he's still, been making appointments, and he expects the impact of those appointments to come through in the next period. And so also Harmony meeting its annual gold production guidance, and they expect to be able to produce between 1.4 million and 1.5 million ounces during this period. When we look at Optasia, they're up nearly 3%. Sun International down up 2.74%. Anglo's up nearly 2.5%. And BHP up 2.31%. So you can really see resources having quite a strong day. Some of the financial shares doing quite nicely. Quilter, PSG, Capitec and 91 all up by around 2% on the day. In the US, things turning a little bit more optimistic. There'd been a flat open, but doing a little better now. The Dow Jones is up 0.17, the Nasdaq is up 0.92, the S&P 500 up nearly 0.5% on the day. The gold price, $4,037.32 an ounce. Platinum, $1,560.60. Brent crude, $73.89 the rand to the dollar, $16.39 to the euro, $18.73 to the British pound, $21.75. On the Money Show tonight, we'll speak to the SA Chamber of Commerce and Industry and just get an assessment, John, of what happened to their businesses. Early days, obviously, for them to do that. I think the other thing is, if people lose a day's worth of income, what does that mean? I think there are all sorts of knock-on effects, and just driving around today, you see so many businesses closed. We'll look at the impact on inflation of lower fuel prices, whether that's enough to stave off another interest rate hike. Have a bit of a deep dive into what's happened with electricity over the last 10 years and the terms of the impact that's had. And then in personal finance tonight, we look particularly at the stokvels and how they work and whether or not they're a safe place to put your money. By and large, they do incredibly well. Stephen Krutis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. 29 minutes to 6 o'clock now. Let's get the latest eyewitness news starting in downtown Joburg, I believe. Mbali Dlamini with the details for you.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Well, the South African National Defence Force has now been deployed to the Joburg's inner city as authorities move to maintain order following today's anti-illegal immigration protests. While the official marches ended, a splinter group of more than 1,000 protesters remains on the streets of the CBD today. Law enforcement has significantly increased its presence as officials work to prevent any further escalation of violence. Our reporter Mongezi Koko is in the CBD for us and joins us live now on the line. Mongezi, can you take us through what the latest is?
Well, Mbali, you have to excuse the roaring engines in the background, but after thousands of people marched through Johannesburg during the planned 30 June protest action, the main procession dispersed at KwaMai earlier this afternoon. But a large splinter group has continued moving through parts of the inner city, prompting the deployment of the SANDF members to support police already on the ground. Soldiers can be seen patrolling alongside SAPS members as helicopters remain overhead and officers keep a close watch on the remaining protesters. The increased security presence follows several isolated incidents of tension reported during the day. Now, this includes rock throwing and a shooting incident now under police investigation. Monkey Ziko Go. Eyewitness News reporting live in Hillbrow.
Well, as today's planned demonstrations come to an end, there are still fears of overnight looting in some parts of KZN. Thousands of people marched throughout that province today in a coordinated stand against illegal immigration. The provincial government says there has been no reported major incidents despite a few isolated incidents of looting. Tabiso Koba has more.
EWN has learned of 3 locations where looting has taken place: Hammersdale, Marion Ridge and Claremont. In all these 3 incidents, the looting took place during the early hours of the morning. In Marion Ridge, 8 foreign-owned spaza shops were looted after a game of cat and mouse between the police and the looters. Chairperson of the Marion Hill Community Policing Forum, Dawood Chirwa, says the looters' modus operandi was to wait for the police to leave the area before pouncing.
Because things were quiet, we thought everything is quiet. Then we said those guys were patrolling there. They can go and sleep. We'll meet them in the morning around 5 o'clock. Then about 5 o'clock in the morning, then I called Neville Skiff, the PRO of Marion Hill Community Police Forum, to just drive around and see the situation if any of those tuck shops of these non-citizens were looted. After driving around, he gave me a call. He said, hey, things are gone worse simply because plus or minus 8 of those non-citizens tuck shops were looted.
The KZN government says the heavy deployment of police in hotspot areas will remain in place over the next couple of days. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News, Durban.
While the march against illegal migration has also reached its conclusion in Pretoria today, protesters arrived at the inner city's city centre in Church Square, then headed to Sunnyside Police Station to hand over their memorandum of demands. Kustas Mdwendwe, member of the World Movement for Democracy, collaborators of March and March, says today's demonstration was successful.
Today's march was peaceful. We took them from Church Square and we brought them back at Church Square. Not even one person, not even one building was demolished today. Because South Africans are not vigilantes. South Africans, black in particular, are not barbarians.
While in France, officials say there were at least 300 more deaths than expected during a 5-day heatwave last month. This is an increase of nearly 14%. According to reports, apart from the May heatwave, France experienced a record-breaking heatwave of 11 days earlier this month, and scientists have linked it to climate change. Prime Minister Sebastien Lecornu says that more people had died in their homes during the latest heatwave than in the previous episodes. A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, lows of between 5 and 7 degrees and highs of between 19 and 21.
Pretoria West, we still have slow-moving traffic on Trans-Orania between Vromhagen and the Dustport Tunnel in Eldorado Park. Look out for roadworks on the N12 westbound between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley.
The top story in EWN, the South African National Defence Force has now been deployed to Johannesburg's inner city as authorities move to maintain order following today's anti-illegal immigration demonstrations.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What does the law say about your culpability if you employ an illegal foreigner?
Only those foreigners needed by our economy are eligible to be employed. When it comes to the employment of those who are unlawful, there are categories of fines. In fact, they've been increased from 10,000 to even 100,000. There's criminal prosecution, possible imprisonment, investigation by authorities, as well as an unintended consequence of reputational damage to the business.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
A tectonic shift in world rugby is coming. 12 nations, 2 groups, one defining rivalry. And in the biggest game of the year, England come to Ellis Park to take on the mighty Springboks on July 4th. Expect fireworks as the Red Roses travel to the Highveld. The Nations Championship is where hemispheres collide. Get your tickets now, only from Ticketmaster.
In fitness, as in finance, endurance is key. If you're 55 and older, you can get an interest rate of up to 10.25% with a Nedbank Electronic Optimum Plus account. Now, feel the earn. Invest within 2 minutes on the Money app and get money fit with Nedbank. See money differently. Nedbank, we're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply. For more info, go to nedbank.co.za.
This is you at a team building meeting trying to motivate your team. But first, you have to motivate your throat to let you speak.
Come on, give him a chance, man.
Listen to you. And you just can't build any momentum to build a team because your throat is refusing to be a team player. when they look at you for sounding like this. Look to Discam, your health hub for all things sore throat. Discam, better health starts here.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
How's it, John? I think it's rather funny that there are parties who want to politicize this march when it is in fact the fault of politicians and politics that the illegal immigrant crisis has reached the level that it has. Cheers.
Yeah, I mean, political parties very much evident. I certainly get the point made earlier that this is an issue that people feel strongly about, those who do, who are doing this from the perspective that they have as community members. But certainly political parties are very, very prominently involved, and some, of course, are expressing counter views. But yeah, you'll never have politics away from anything, in particular an issue that so many South Africans feel passionate about. 20 minutes now to 6 o'clock.
EWN Sport.
Yeah, so one African team through last night and more to play for tonight. Tolakele with the details.
Thanks so much, John. And Africa will look to make it 2 nations through to the last 16. That's when Ivory Coast go up against Norway this evening at the FIFA World Cup. Jan Diomande has been a sensation during the tournament, and he's aiming to keep that run going as the Elephants' historic campaign continues.
I think I'm proud of me. Since long time, I've been through for a lot of things, a lot of problems with family, with people around. So I'm proud of me to be here today and playing for my country. World Cup is the biggest competition in the world. So playing the World Cup for a country is always what I want, and that's why I want to give everything for my country.
Stal Solbakken has shared his thoughts about the evolution of Norway's national team since their last tournament in 1998.
Here there are players who wants to use the ball and are used to use the ball and maybe have their strength of using the ball compared to the 90s where last time we were in the World Cup, it was maybe a stronger physical side. And as you said, that we relied much more on set pieces, the physicality. Obviously the organization of the team is as important now as it was then.
Sweden possibly have the toughest challenge of the night as they take on France. Kylian Mbappe is looking to keep the pace with the record tournament goal scorer Lionel Messi, while Graham Potter has discussed how the Swedes can possibly keep him quiet.
Well, I think you have to consider that it's not just him. There's a few others that we could name. They're also incredibly talented, top attacking players. As a team, France attack really well. They use the quality they have in a good way. So collectively is the only answer. We have to be good as a team. We have to understand how we defend as a team. And then at the same time, we also have to offer a threat ourselves.
Even Robert Lewandowski can't pass up the chance to play with Mbegezeli Mbogazi. This is after Chicago Fire confirmed the signing of the striker. Lewandowski has signed a 1-year contract and arrives from Barcelona, where he won the La Liga title last season. Over the last 8 campaigns, Lewandowski has scored more than 700 goals for Poland and clubs including Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. Switching to cricket, where Lords will play host to England up against South Africa in a T20 World Cup semi-final clash on Thursday. The Proteas women have beaten their opponents in the last 4 in the last 2 editions, but Marazan Kap says that counts for nothing this time around.
There's no favourites. It's whoever rocks up on the day and plays the best cricket. We are experienced. I feel like we are in a better place as a whole, having reached the finals in the last couple of World Cups. But at the end of the day, on Thursday when we rock up here, it's a clean slate and it's whoever performs on the day.
And in a Wimbledon update, Taylor Fritz, Alex Demenya, Amanda Asimnova, Iga Swiatek and Madison Keys are just some of the big names who are through to the second round as play continues at SW19 today. Of course, the day's biggest game will see wildcard Serena Williams up against Maya Joint on centre court. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
17 minutes to 6 o'clock now, and this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. We've had some difficulties today. Karabo Chali, are we over the worst, do you think?
I think we are, John, and not much violence has been experienced. This is following the marches across Gauteng. At this stage, things a bit calm. Hopefully they stay that way, and things are also looking good on our roads, free flowing on our highways. No accidents have been reported. However, I see those roadworks are still ongoing. This is in the Eldorado Park area on the N12 westbound between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road. Heading into Soweto, that's driving through Diepkloof. There's a slow-moving traffic on Chris Honey Road. That's opposite the Bara Hospital. There's also those faulty traffic lights in Sunninghill at Witkoppen and Rivonia Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, you can WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen get the traffic flowing smoothly because when you're late for your hair appointment, you delay the hairdresser's lunch break so she gets hangry and makes mistakes. And, well, you know how that goes. Fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsmen easing the traffic congestion for the past 20 years, everyone can get where they need to be quickly and safely. Just another way you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using hashtag pointsmenlove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's focus our attention on the Johannesburg community of Alexandra. And we're joined for this by Kamva Mtombeni, who is a reporter at Alex FM. We understand there were clashes in the area earlier. She's currently at the Sichawela informal settlement. Kamva, thank you so much for giving us your time. What happened in Alex earlier? We understand the police sent in reinforcements and heavier vehicles. What was going on? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John, and to the listeners. What happened today was that there were two groups of marchers. Some of them went into Outa informal settlement, which is an settlement inside Alex, and according to reports, it has a lot of illegal immigrants. So some of them went there, and then when we got intel, it was that they were closed in Outa. So after the marchers were done handing over their memorandum to the police, they came to Outa, and then they began doing their own citizen arrest because one of the, I'd say a couple of their own were injured inside Outa.
So what's the situation now, Kamva? Firstly, are the police there? Are things under control, or do you get a sense that that there could be more trouble to come?
Tensions have died down now, but what I can say is the residents at Outa are up in arms. They are ready for anything to happen. Hence, they are outside right now waiting for anything that could happen. But the marchers now have left. They've dispersed all around Alex. But there's no police visibility at this point that I can say.
And Kamva, I mean, in the days leading up to the march, were there concerns that this could be a flashpoint before?
No, none whatsoever. This is the third march in Alex since the march and march movement started their movement. So this was the third one, and there has not been any violence, and it has been a peaceful march from when we left our meeting point, which is a Sankopana at the stadium here in Alex. It was peaceful up until they heard that some of their group was held in Outa.
Thanks so much. Kamva Mtombeni is a reporter at Alex FM, one of our leading community radio stations, assisting us with what's going on at the Stretla informal settlement in Alex. If you live in Alex and you want to add to that, by all means do. A couple of people just alerting us to things that they say might be starting to boil a little in other parts of Joburg. Not much in this message, but they say in Malvern they are just starting. If anyone's in the Malvern area and you can add some layers to that, we'd really appreciate that. Now, I'm very, very mindful that we don't want to necessarily create alarm in any places. At the same time, I'm using the opportunity of the 702 family to get more information. And if you want to call in and say, I'm in Malvern and it's quiet, that is as important as building on any fears that anyone else may have. And again, from somebody else, protesters are 2 streets away from me in Crosby, chanting. So that's in the Joburg South. So any more information on those 2 places, the more we can share with you of accurate information, the better it'll be. It's 11 minutes to 6.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
What are some of the lessons and tips you can share with individuals that are really trying to formalize their fashion businesses in terms of getting things going from the get-go?
A lot of brands think that they'll only start documenting things later. So a lot of people think, okay, well, I'm not big enough now, so I don't need to start keeping records of my finances. And the problem is that the later that you get, the more usage that you get to your system, it gets hard to start that over. So starting with making sure that you've registered your business, making sure that you have a bank account, making sure that you are taking track of whatever you can when it comes to how many materials you're using, how much electricity you use, how much water you're using, so that as you expand and as you scale, you already have the systems in place.
Nyaniso to Boris.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
When Joburg comes together for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk on Sunday 26 July, FNB will be walking with you because FNB believes that help starts on the ground with people coming together for good. So join FNB on this walk through the iconic Joburg CBD, witness a city on the move, experience the collective action helping to shape a cleaner, safer Joburg and rediscover the revitalized energy that makes this city unique. Enter now at primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk in proud partnership with FNB.
Get ready to take the reins. The spotlight shifts to the 2026 Hollywood Bets Durban July in our thrilling Season of Champions competition. Bet 50 Rand or more on horse racing online or at your nearest Hollywood Bets branch for your chance to take home a share of 2.5 million Rand in cash and prizes. Are you ready to embrace the country allure experience? Bet now and join the race for champion status. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
It's your last chance to enter. Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is closing entries soon. This year, we're celebrating entrepreneurs who've turned personal challenges into businesses that make a real difference. Catch 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa every morning to meet the finalists and hear their inspiring stories. Go to igniteyourbusiness.co.za or primemediaplus.com to enter. You could win 200,000 Rand and the recognition your business deserves. T's and C's apply. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
While it's been an extremely long day of queuing under Musina's scorching sun, it appears the Malawian nationals are in for an even longer night at the local showgrounds. A thick layer of dust hangs in the air as the ground beneath them is nothing more than dry sand and withered grass. But despite the harsh conditions, several children can be seen joyfully playing, which is in stark contrast to the mood of their parents. This Malawian national says home is where his heart is.
Yeah, our Malawi is safe when we go there, but here we are not safe because if you can see this police this evening, but when it's midnight, you can't find them.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So we'll go to Outa Hillbrow in just a moment. Mongezi Koko, our colleague, is there, but I just want to give you what I have in regard to Malvern. This is sent to us and it's compiled by the Gauteng Provincial Joint Operations Centre. I'll go through it pretty much verbatim and simplify in some places. The situation along Jules Street in the Malvern area has turned volatile. The current verified location of the protest is at the intersection of Jules and Monmouth Streets. Law enforcement remains on the scene monitoring the situation. Members of the public requested to avoid the Jules Street area until further notice, and motorists, according to this notice, should avoid the area and make use of alternative routes. So that seems to be confirming what people are saying. And somebody else says, good evening in Malvern. They're starting to damage houses. Okay, so that's an update from that particular part of Joburg. Let's go to Hillbrow now and join our colleague Mongezi Koko, who's been following protests in the centre of Joburg throughout the day. Mongezi, we understand the SANDF has moved in. I'm not sure in what kind of numbers and what exactly it is they're doing there, but please update us on the latest. Good afternoon.
A very good afternoon to you, Dr. John. Well, the scene, of course, here is quite tense. EWN has returned to that particular area where the body of, where a young boy was assisted after he was shot at by a flat dweller here in the Hillbrow CBD. What we do understand so far from police is that that young boy was part of the march earlier on where we saw over 10,000 people partake in today's demonstrations here in the Joburg CBD. We do know that the army has been deployed to help assist. Now, this is in quelling the tension that we are still seeing to this hour. I mean, several hundreds, in fact, I think it's about 1,000 people are continuing to protest. This is a splinter group that veered off from the main group earlier on today, and they are still taking on the streets of Hillbrow, and they're still protesting against illegal immigration. We do see a high police contingent, including SAPS, JMPD, and the SANDF. It's not very clear in terms of communication, the right numbers, and the statistics, of course, as we are awaiting all those important briefings that are due to take place, particularly from Nat Joint and the interministerial briefing that will be taking place right after the Nat Joint's briefing. So then we'll have a clearer picture of how many people suffered injuries, etc. But I must also stress, Dr. John, that heading into the evening right now, we are seeing several motor vehicles that have been torched. We are seeing cars that have also suffered severe damage and damages to the flats that are surrounding here, where you see windows that are now completely agape as a result of today's earlier protest action. So the situation is not as clean-cut as we may have interpreted it to be earlier on. However, when it comes, those are still being closely monitored, with police maintaining a heavy police presence.
So Mongezi, stay with us. We've just got a couple of voice notes. We're going to play those. They may relate to things you've seen or you may have observations on, and then we'll come back to you. Let's go to some of our listeners' updates.
Hey, 702. Right now I'm in Kyalami, Midrand, and it's quite quiet. The roads are empty. Which, usually this would be one of the busiest hours. It would be packed right now. So it seems safe this side.
Good day, John. Good day, 702 Lenders. Abraham in Florida. John, I just passed in Malvern, in Julie Street. However, there is a bit of tension because the residents there are lingering around in Julie Street, which is the main street going into Joburg. But there are police, but however, it wasn't a huge number of police. So JMPD can just deploy more police to be there, because I think I couldn't get any closer as I was afraid of stones being thrown around or anything of that nature. But the shops are closed, and yeah, it's just a bit worrying that there's just so much tension, John. Thank you.
Thanks, Abram, with what he's seen out in Malvern. Okay, Mongezi, just coming back to, I mean, there's a potential for this to be a very long night. I was aware of one vehicle being burnt. You're starting to say that this is happening more than once. I don't know if you've had a chance to get from the police and the army a sense of how they're planning to get through the night, because it doesn't sound like this group is dispersing anytime soon.
Well, Dr. John, the dissonance is palpable, as you'd imagine. The higher ups are the ones that are fed this information, and they're supposed to relay it down to us. However, the ones on the ground, including the army personnel and the police officers, are unable to properly brief us or give us the real-time statistics. So we are really working on what we're seeing, what they're responding to. But to touch back on what you've said about this being a long evening, that seems to be the preparation. You are seeing constantly officers changing shifts and gearing up. And as you can hear in the background, there's those roaring engines. These are from the SANDF artillery and vehicles that are also lined up ready to tackle the streets of Johannesburg. And I mean, it's a huge contingent for something that was estimated to end at around 2 o'clock this afternoon. So it is definitely going to be a long night. However, when it comes to the proper explanation pertaining to the numbers, this will definitely be coming from those various briefings that we are anticipating. But like I said, everything does seem to be under control in terms of law enforcement, maintaining order, cordoning off roads, and ensuring that those who are traveling back from work can get to where they need to go, particularly the taxi ranks. As you mentioned,
Yes.
This is the Joburg CBD, so there's a number of those. So making sure that they secure those particular areas despite the various protesters, and it is quite a large number. And we've also then seen more protesters begin to join in, and that is on this evening or this late afternoon. So it's very suggestive that this is going to be something bigger than anticipated.
Thanks so much, and you stay safe out there too. Mongezi Koko covering things into the evening out in Hillbrow. All we have time for, I'm afraid, I know some of you were wanting to phone in and give us updates, but do stay tuned to 702, our EWN team, keeping an eye on things all over the country. From me, John Perlman, good night.
And now, The Money Show
with Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app
and DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA Rewards. Get double cash back when an African team scores and wins at the FIFA World Cup 2026, courtesy of Visa. T's and C's apply. Good evening on your Money Show tonight.